Hey everybody, Diamond Dave here. You're watching HALENVILLE Live with Fruitcake Tony. Look at all the people here tonight.
Like that. Right on. Yeah, man. And we are, in fact, live a little after 9 o'clock at night, Tuesday, August the 1st. It is August already. Fruitcake Tony, Ed DeBrill, Charles Green in the house. What's up, fellas?
Hello, Tony. How are you tonight?
Absolutely ecstatic.
Yeah,
Absolutely
me too.
ecstatic, dude. Yeah, man. So the new Mammoth II is out this Friday, August
Oh, yeah.
4th. Yeah, man. Absolutely.
It's a killer album. What I've heard so far is extra special. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah,
guys.
sounds great.
Yeah, so we have 3 tunes and the track listing, but we have been waiting, and Friday is the day.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Hey, I want to give a thank you to Ed once again. He hooked me and Tony and himself up with these really cool HALENVILLE mugs. They were totally unexpected. He put our picks in kind of our little thing on name on each cup, and I love.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Happy to do it.
Really cool,
Yeah,
brother.
thank you,
Very
Ed.
cool.
Mine's in the dishwasher at present time. But yeah, I dig it, man. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. So we have a special guest tonight in the green room. Chris Gill is here to give us some super insight on this Mammoth II record and where Wolf is. We know he's been all over the globe and will continue to be doing a lot of touring. And we'll go over all the tours, the Metallica tour and the Alder Bridge tour and the recently announced run with Nita Strauss too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In Boston.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Wolf is out there on tour. New record this Friday. There's merch too offered with the record, and still you can get your pre-order in. There's vinyl. There's the beach ball colored vinyl. There's black vinyl. None of the signed stuff is there. You can still get the CD. You can get the shirts. There's nice shirts. There's a handsome zip-up hoodie with a new Mammoth logo on the front and back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a couple different new shirt style looks.
A flag, too.
There's a big flag. That's right. A
Yeah.
Mammoth flag. $20-some. That's a good deal, too.
Yeah.
And there's guitar pick tins that are sold out. and they have 6 guitar picks and a 10 Mammoth picks. And you know me, I ordered 2. So we're going to open up one on Friday, and we're going to give them all away.
Whoa.
We are.
Sweet.
That's great.
Yes, we are.
That's excellent. Most excellent.
So expect, if we get this stuff in the mail on the release day Friday, you'll see an extra video on Friday night with me and these guys. And
Yeah, I hope everything works out.
Yeah.
yeah.
Little
I
reaction
can't
video.
wait to get Chris in here and start talking about this new album.
Yes.
I'm just going to shut up for right now. We'll talk later.
Let's
On that note,
first things first, we will, by the way, do later on about at the hour mark or so, we'll do a round of nearly impossible Van Halen trivia.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, we'll do it. Well, there it is. And we'll, what are we going to give them tonight? How about we'll give them a 1971 D quarter along with a million VH bucks.
Yeah, must
big
have
bucks.
All right, so both of them for trivia later. Good luck. 2, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's open up the chat, guys, before we bring in Chris and see who's here with us. We'll start at the bottom with the mighty Mean Streets extraordinaire bass player Jay Turner.
Right on, Jay. It's good to see you, man.
Right
Hey, Jay.
at the bottom. Adam Roach is in the house.
Adam.
See Adam. Ryan Hall, what's up,
Hey,
Ryan?
Ryan, man.
There's
Come on, you guys.
Trev in the house.
Right
Good
on,
to see
Trev.
you.
Trev.
Good show a while ago. Congratulations to those
You
guys.
guys
1,000 subs.
Rock. Absolutely rock.
Yeah. Jay Santiago in
Right
the
on, Jay.
house. Right on.
Jay.
Paulie
Jay.
Walnuts is in the house. What's up, bro?
It's good to see you,
Polly.
Paulie. Right on,
Yes,
man.
sir. Right on. I'm going to scroll up to see Patty Deal
Hey, Patty.
hanging
Patty.
out up here
on.
with our brother Tommy.
Hey, right on, Tommy. Love
And
you, man.
There's Keith Campbell. What's up,
Hey, what's
Keith?
up?
Come on,
What's up,
Keith.
Keith?
I am still scrolling up. Hip Metal Works is in the house. What's
Hip
up,
Metal rocks.
dude? Good to see you, man.
Right there, bro.
And
What's up?
Guitar Man 45 in the house.
Bo.
Hey.
Bo, right there, man.
All right. So All Dave All Night is in the house.
You rock, dude.
If
Right
you're
on, bro.
just joining, say hello in the chat
Christopher.
like this guy.
Right on, Christopher.
All right.
Absolutely.
Blake, music lover, welcome. Good
Hey.
to see you.
Yeah,
Welcome
hi.
to Halenville. Welcome to Halenville. Right on.
All right. So if you there is, I'm gonna scroll down. If you,
From Houston.
yeah. If you're just joining, say hello in the chat for us. It's good to see you. There he is. Right on,
There's Ryan.
What's
Congrats,
going on,
buddy.
Ryan?
Yes, sir. 1,000 subs.
You kill,
And
bro.
a wonderful
Very
tone
cool.
too, man.
Absolutely killer.
Right on. Good to see you, man. All right.
Did we get the lawnmower tapes?
Lawnmower tapes.
Right there, brother.
Good to see you, bro.
Do not miss you, bro.
All right. All right.
Right on. Excellent. It's good to see all you guys.
Yeah.
So let's, without further ado, let's bring in our special guest, a friend of the show that he's been on with us, gosh, 4 or 5 times now. rock journalist
Yeah.
Chris Gill. There he is.
Most cool.
Badass.
Look at this guy. Right on, brother.
Oh, there it is.
Picked up a
There
new
we
friend
go.
for the Frankengill here in Tokyo. Actually, he's going to have to get a Jack Daniels bass though to go with him, but this guy.
Oh, that's seriously cool.
Nice.
Oh, dude.
A little stripe job on him and a Jack Daniels bass, and I think we'll be good to go.
There we go.
Excellent.
Chris, good to see you, sir.
Good to see you guys,
Hi.
Yeah.
as always.
We hadn't spoke here lately. You told me you've spent some time over in the land of the rising sun.
Yeah, and rising indeed. It's still, still guitar heaven over there, man. I shot a ton of video that I'm going to put up on my YouTube page. Went to the new Fender flagship store in Harajuku or Hajuku or however, they say it a little bit different. They tend to slur their words together. We say it's sing-songy, and they say it all kind of like quick and, one level. But it's really cool. It's amazing. It's proof that Tokyo is the center of the guitar universe. It's just an incredible, multi-level store with just, unfortunately, no EVH stuff, even though it's part of the family, but it's all Fender. And it's just amazing. It's really slick. They've got a cafe in the basement. They can get cocktails. I mean, what's a guitar store without cocktails?
Yes.
So, but I'm going to put a video of that up there. I went back to Ochanomizu to see how that's going, and it's kind of on the. I don't know. The thing with reverb has changed the playing field quite a bit. So a lot of stuff is moving out of there quick. So it's not quite as choice in some respects, but there's still my favorite section of Tokyo, which I will be doing a special video about. That is still as cool as ever. But it's just loaded. I was all over the country. I went down to Hiroshima. I went down to Kyoto and Osaka. Even went to the incredible Bunny Island. They have an island that's inhabited. It's the world's biggest petting zoo. It's thousands of rabbits. And as soon as you get off the ferry boat, you take this boat over and you get off the boat and you're just instantly greeted by running packs of rabbits that just are like, feed me. You buy these bags. I actually was smart because I read up about it. I bought like a big 1 pound bag of rabbit pellets at my local feed store. And man, I was like Santa Claus out there just passing around pellets of rabbits. They were just chasing me. And there was like this one hill that I was hiking up, and there was like this rabbit who was like, "This is my hill." And like he would ambush you. Like he'd be going up around the bend and whatever. And all of a sudden he'd like, there he is again. He's like, pop out of the bushes or whatever. But it's so incredibly cool. And something.
Have you got pictures of all this, and you're going to put it up on your YouTube?
All this stuff, yeah. It's called. I'm going to do.
Excellent.
There Will Be Bunnies.
Man, I think I've had
Nice.
I think I've had dreams like that before.
Nice.
But it's crazy because it was like actually a place where they made poison gas during World War II.
Oh.
And it's like this place with this insidious back history is now like the cutest place on earth. It's insane. But there's great guitar shops everywhere. I saw great guitar shops in Hiroshima and Osaka. Don't remember seeing any in Kyoto, but Kyoto was like almost like a fever dream because I was sick and it was like 100 degrees out, and it was crowded, and they had the festival, the Gion festival going on, where they have these huge mammoth floats that it's just insane. Like they take over this one section of the town, and they have these huge floats that go down the street, and they're massive. I mean, they're just these big, huge wooden contraptions, and they've got bands on them and stuff, drummers and flute players and singing and all this other stuff, and it's just nuts. But
Wow.
I got to show this video clip. This is the Disc Union store, kind of a used CD shop in Ochanomizu, which is the Guitar Heaven part. A lot of these shops, but this is their Van Halen section there.
Ooh.
Oh, dude.
It's
right now.
pretty loaded with stuff.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
all kinds of. There's actually a lot of bootlegs in there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just, I was surprised how well stocked it was, but of course it's, you're by Guitar Heaven. So it's like, it's got to have a good Van Halen selection there. But I picked up some goodies. I got, let's see, what did I pick up? Oops. Slippery suckers here. I got the Japanese copy of Balance.
Oh, dude.
Oh. With crossing over?
That's
crossing
so
over on it. $2.
$2. I was just about to ask you, Chris, what did you pay for that? $2.
The exchange rate's insane over there, but even so, it was used and it was just like in immaculate condition. But the exchange rate's nuts. I mean, it's like I ate like a king, for like $10 with a beer this big.
Wow.
On most nights, and I splurged, of course, on a couple times. But it's like even like an incredible sushi dinner over here that would cost you like $300 is like $100. It's just the exchange rates. It's over the top out there. So coming over with U.S. dollars, it's like bargain sale. It's like you're going to a third world country, but it's not. It's high tech. They've got 3D cat overlooking this one block in Shinjuku. It's like the most high tech nuts thing you've ever seen in your life. And all these boy band trucks, like big rigs with these huge lit up displays. It's like Blade Runner times 10 of all these boy bands just driving up and down the road, blaring music and stuff, and it's all lit up, and it's just crazy. But got this guy, Forum, 1982. Of course, all this stuff is on YouTube. Dude. But it's still kind of cool to have it on CD.
Did you say, Chris? Did you say the Forum?
Forum, yeah.
Los Angeles, LA Forum, 1982?
1982, September.
I was at that show. Were you at that show, Chris?
I was not at that show. I went to the show 82. I think I was in San Diego. So I went to the sports arena.
Excellent. Excellent. Wow, that is so cool.
And I had to stock up on some of my Japan guitar rock. These guys, Saikama, they are like basically Japanese Kiss. Kabuki rock with like shred guitar, rip your face off. This is a 1999 record. They broke up in 1999 because the millennium was coming up, and they said we've done all we can. But they actually just got back together here recently, did a big huge show and everything. The live album is rather expensive. It's about like $50.
I'll be right back, guys.
Wow. But great guitar rock though. Check them out. Saikama, Seikima. I think Saikama 2, something like that. Just they're nuts. It's again, big production. They pick up stuff from us and they do it times 10. Times 20.
Chris, did you say that there's a resurgence of the Kabuki rock? Is that what you were saying?
Yes, there is. Yeah,
it's interesting you say that. I saw Marty Friedman like 5 weeks ago at the Fillmore here in Charlotte, and his whole band was from Japan.
Yeah,
Osaka. They were from Osaka, Japan. And they didn't speak any English, but his drummer was a kabuki. He had the whole kabuki vibe. He was badass, and I found it really shocking. And it's just cool that that's a resurgence thing now. That's really badass.
And I got to give props to one other band. That's Love Bites, all female band. Again, just incredibly shredding guitar. Just really great technical guitar stuff, but emotional and cool. And the 80s never died over there. It was so cool to be out. You'd be out at a restaurant and it would just be like the 80s soundtrack, going on. Speaking of the 80s, I found this t-shirt over there. Original 1986 tour t-shirt. You can tell it's real because this is an extra large and it fits me skin tight. So it's, but it's, you can find all this stuff. I found a ton of Van Halen tour t-shirts over there. I found an original US Festival muscle shirt, but it was size medium, and in the 80s size medium just ain't going to work for me. So, and if you're small enough and go to Koenji, and I'll tell you which shop to get it from. But
that's awesome. That is awesome.
When you moved out of the house, there was that one weekend with your girlfriend, and your mom sold all your stuff or gave it all away to Goodwill. It all ended up over there. So,
yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
Wow.
But yeah, I highly recommend going if you haven't been. I mean, just don't go in the dead of summer, man. It's so hot. I spent most of my money hydrating. The great thing is they have all these, they've got all these convenience stores, which are incredible. Like almost every corner has a convenience store, and they've got like 3 of them. They've 3 main ones, and then they have a bunch of offshoot ones. But they have like Lawson, Family Mart, and 7-Eleven. And then they have vending machines everywhere. I mean, you can be the most remote place, and there'll be a vending machine. So,
had you gone over there in the past, Chris?
Oh, many times. Yeah. This is the big blowout though. So, the longest trip and seeing the most of the country. Usually I just go to Tokyo and that's it. And this time I went down to, see all kinds of stuff. Like I said, Hiroshima, Kyoto, Osaka. Osaka's awesome. Osaka's just like it's got an edge to it. It's a little rough around the edges. It's not, Tokyo's slick and high tech and everything like that. And Osaka's got, it's got a little bit of personality to it. It's a little gritty, but it's really cool. It's got this one section. I can't remember, Dotenbai, I think is what it's called, where they have this famous sign, the Glico Man. He's like this running guy, and it's this big neon section by the river, this canal that goes through the middle of the city. And just packed with tourists, but they have all these crazy, it's like the carnival 24/7. They have these huge, like, plastic sculpture heads. They have like Spider-Man sneaking into a clam, and huge octopuses for all the takoyaki. And they have this guy that's what's it called? Kushikatsu Daruma. And he's frowning because the whole thing, they changed it, but, they used to have like a big vat of dipping sauce for your fried, meat on a stick. And there's no double dipping, so the guy frowns because, like, if you double dip, man, you're going to get the Dharma guy and he's going to slash you up with his knives. So, but I guess now they just have it in a squeeze bottle, but it used to be like this big communal thing, you dip your stick into the sauce and
Gretch.
Wow.
what have you. But,
wow.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's so much fun. It's like this. We were walking around this place, this Dotonbori area, and there was some guy, and I don't know where he was from, had to be the South or something like that. And it's just, I wish I had a constant tape recorder on, because this guy just was like, "What is this place?" It's such overload. It's like, oh my God, there's so much going on. There's all these lights and people and all these crazy sculpture plastic things, and huge on top of the building, and they're all animated. And it's like the craziest, most psychedelic amusement park that you can imagine. Wow. And guitars everywhere. Yeah, guitars everywhere. Just great guitar stores. I put up on my Instagram just a little clip of this guitar shop, Hyper Guitars, I went to. Probably one of the best Finnish guitar shops, in the whole world. The guys there just get amazing instruments in all the time. And it's just cool. Just fun. Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I'm glad to be back and excited about Mammoth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Chris, we I think we last spoke with you when we were talking about your conversation with Wolf and Matt a while back.
Right before Christmas.
Yeah. So Wolf has worked on this new record for a while now.
For a while, it came together pretty quickly, actually. I think he started on it, or if I recall properly, if I can remember my timeline, it was just about the time we talked. He was just starting on the record, and that was about August of last year, and pretty much finished up the tracking quickly. When I saw him at the end of February of this year, the record was done and they were mixing, and it's amazing to think about, especially when you hear the record, to think about like how quickly it came together. And then the fact that this is a one-man show. This is not a band, going in and like the old Van Halen style and, playing live, and boom, boom, boom. This is put together track by track. One individual, him and Elvis, Vesquette, behind the board doing his magic. But it's really quite a feat when you think about it, that it was done so quickly. The quality of the material is just, it's not like a rushed record by any means. This is crafted. This is well, put together, well written. There's not a misplaced note anywhere on there. There's so many little crafty ideas, and you listen to the thing really closely and it's like, wow, there's a lot going on in here. It's a big, dense mix, but you can hear everything. And there's just all kinds of cool little sound toys, little sound secrets and sound surprises and stuff that pop up. And, even going back and listening to it, I'm still hearing new stuff. And they're like little things he threw in there, little hints, little surprises. There's one point in one song where he does a behind the bridge pick scrape, a la Running with the Devil.
Oh,
it's a cool little thing, it's just like, wow, he's just throwing us out little goods,
He, Chris, he does a 1 minute solo in Take a Bow. Yeah. And he throws in, you guys, we're going to be analyzing this forever, but he throws in like 5 little tiny Eddie fragments in that solo. and it is absolutely breathtaking.
So Wolf has posted the track listing up on his site.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Chris, safe to say this is not going to be a sophomore slump.
Yeah, that was my comment on his Instagram. When he put up, the first song, when he put up Another Celebration, it's like, the sophomore slump just took off and went on vacation for the rest of the year. Because it's like,
yeah,
it ain't happening.
Right.
Chris, you said it good that it's a one-man band. It's not like it's a band where he's got to go in and different people, personalities, etc. What, doing it all by himself, has he voiced to you of, I have wondered, what's got to be the hardest part of doing it by yourself?
I haven't done my full-fledged interview with him yet. That's going to be coming up next month after he gets back from this latest round of touring and has a little bit of a break. Of course, he's got a wedding in there too. I don't know when we're going to talk, man. It's like I'm hoping that he just doesn't get burned out or whatever. But we're going to really talk about the record and do some stuff that none of the other interviews have done. But we're going to get into really the nuts and bolts and the psychology and the whole, really what is he doing here? Not just the story behind this. I played my dad's guitar on Take a Bow on the solo or whatever. It's going to be much more than that. But yeah, I'm curious to find out, because it's like, this is just really, you just listen to it and it's like, how did he conceive of this thing and put it together in such a cohesive fashion? It sounds like a band. It sounds like a band that's been playing for like 10 years, and it's one guy, and it sounds like a band of all top-notch players. The bass playing's phenomenal, the drumming's phenomenal, the vocals and the harmonies are phenomenal, the guitar playing's phenomenal, there's keyboards. It's just like,
wow.
There's no slouching here. Lyrically, it's great. The arrangements are incredible. The songs all have their little bit of different thing going on. It's not the same guitar tone throughout. There's, again, like I said, there's all these little Easter eggs and stuff in there. It's just a really frippin' cool record. I mean, I love the first record, and it was kind of like, it was his first thing, and it had actually been done pretty much in 2015 and sat on the shelf for a while, and he did a couple, nips and tucks and added some new stuff along the way. But this is really like his statement. This is like, I'm Wolfgang Van Halen. This is Mammoth. You can really hear his sound coming out of this. His influences are still there, but they're not as obvious. And it's also kind of like, I'm taking my twist on this. Like, you can tell, like, okay, here's a little bit of Tool here. Here's a little bit of Metallica. Here's a little bit of Foo Fighters. Here's a little bit of this. But it's not blatant. It's really like, okay, I'm doing that, but I'm doing my twist on it. And this is, it's sometimes it's much cooler. I mean, I think some of his stuff just kind of takes the Foo Fighters to the mat.
He's developed his own sound.
Yeah.
There's a whole pop side.
We have these first three songs that we've heard. There's a whole pop side. In fact, pretty much what I call side 2, pretty much after, which song is it? After Optimist, it kind of goes into a little bit more of a pop interlude, for a couple songs. And it's this really good aspect. I mean, that's, we had that on the first record as well, but it's really cool to hear him do this really heavy stuff and then transition seamlessly to this kind of pop stuff. And there's still some heavy stuff in there. He'll be doing something with this super catchy melody, and all of a sudden we'll just go into this really heavy rhythmic thing, and it's just like, boom, and it'll be out and be onto something. There's a complexity to his arrangements. It's just really like, you just get these surprises. He's going off in one direction, and all of a sudden, now we're going to go here, but it's cohesive. It makes sense. It's not like, I'm just throwing out, the kitchen sink here.
So he mixes it up, but they blend.
Yeah.
He's trimmed it down, 10 songs on the new album. Is that correct?
10 songs, but they're long for the most part. There's only one song that's under 3 minutes, which is the one we've heard. What was that one? Like a Pastime. That's the shortest song on the record. Now, Take a Bow is the epic. To me, it's the centerpiece of the album. We've heard that.
Okay.
If you haven't heard it, you got to listen to it, because it's great. I mean, it's my favorite song on the record, and it's the longest song. It's almost 7 minutes long. But there's a couple songs that are over 6 minutes. Most of the songs are all well over 4 minutes.
Wow.
And the thing is just it's not repetitive. It goes places. It takes you places, and
he plays a lot of guitar on these songs, Chris.
There's just layers.
A lot of lead is what I mean to say. He's playing a lot of solos.
There's a lot of solos, but there's also just the rhythmic work. It's dense. You just listen to this and go like, oh my crap, he laid down a lot of guitar tracks. And the drumming is just like, it's big. The overall sound of the record, it's a huge, huge sounding record. It's going to give your sound system a good workout, but it's tight, it's punchy.
Interesting about
I've heard in a long time.
So I didn't mean to cut you off, Chris.
No problem. Go ahead.
I was going to say, interesting about he's got 4 guitars with a bass in his band. Yeah. So he's writing this music. It's got a lot of different sounds to it, a lot of guitar work in it. It's interesting to me that he does this himself. And while he's producing the music, he's doing it for a whole band. Knowing the end result, he's got this band that's got to present it live.
And that's why I think, I wonder when I saw him, like 3 guitars, wow. But it's like, listening to especially what he's doing now, it's like, I get it, because you need it.
They all create their own vibe.
They create their own vibe. Has its own,
layers.
There's a lot of interlocking stuff going on. There's cool little melodic stuff, like you'll have this, this heavy riffing going on, but then there'll be this line going on over the top of it. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. There's just some great examples of that on there.
I was watching some of the live touring he's been doing with Metallica on the Metallica stage, and what was really cool about it is the way his band engulfed that arena, that stage, and they're doing the circles. They're out there and they're actually dialing around the audience, and I think it's just brilliant. I think
they're rock stars. I mean, they're rock stars. And they're having the time of their life, and that's what's the great thing about it too. And that's what reminds me of his dad's band. Is they're having a good time up there, and that you pick up on that. It's like you really, that energy, you can't sit there and be like, it's just like they grab you, they grab your attention. It's a good solid band. I mean, it must be a drag in a way for the guys in the band, because they're backing up this guy who's so incredibly talented to not be on the records. But I mean, I'm sure there'll be live records. Where
on that note, did the guys in the band have any impact on this new record?
I would think somewhat. I think that, because he has been out there playing with them, I think he is thinking about the band and the live aspect of this, and being able to perform this pretty complex music. It's definitely not just, guitar, bass, drums, vocals. It's, there's layers, like I said. And, there's times where Wolf's up there playing keys or whatever with the guitar around his neck, and switching back and forth between the two, and sometimes playing both at the same time. It's just, I do think that it had an impact on him. I think, there's part of that. I think the fact that he knew he was going out with Metallica, that he probably went with a heavier sound on this record, but I think that's also just where he was leaning towards anyways. That's what he likes to do. But at the same time, there's this pop aspect that's just, I can hear like, a more progressive adult contemporary station playing some of this stuff. It's I don't want to write it in any way, but it's kind of like, this is stuff that the soccer moms can dig. There's some really great melodies in there, and there's even like this one song, Waiting, is just, it's the cell phones, the lighters in the air kind of, ballad kind of song out there that the female aspect of his audience is just going to eat it up. It's a great song. It's a good love song, and it's just but it's it's got, again, for the dudes, it's got the heaviness, and at the same time there's no solo on that song, but it's I can see pop radio, if pop radio cares any bit, even one iota about guitar rock in this day and age, that song is there. I mean, it's definitely, your modern rock stations are going to be, it's going to go to number 1 on that,
Wow.
Yeah. What's the opening track like?
The opening track.
Right.
I'm so tempted to play you guys little snippets, but I know you might get busted here. But it starts off with kind of this immigrant song kind of thing, this kind of
Okay.
kind of thing. It just makes a statement right off the bat. This is heavy, but you get into it, and then you get to this bridge, and this bridge is just beautifully melodic, and it's just a statement song, There's all these great guitar textures going on, and it builds. This is what's so great is the dynamics on the arrangements. You have a lot of these songs that they start off one place and they build and they build and they build, and they get bigger and they get heavier, and there's a great guitar solo on it. It's a short and sweet solo. It's got a really, one thing that's the guitar sounds on this record, especially on the solos, are just mid-range is back, baby. He's got that SA 126 that he's using for a lot of the stuff. And there's just this fat mid-range. And it's like the way it should be. It's that sweet spot. This is a way, that we had a lot of great guitar rock in the, the 70s and the early 80s that had this mid-range, and it just popped right out of the mix. It was in your face, and it was like another vocal. And he's got these really great dialed in guitar tones, and like right off there, boom, there's a great solo. Like a pastime, you guys should know that, my wife loved it because it's like, it kind of reminded her of 80s rock, a little bit of 80s alternative type of stuff in there in the arrangement. That's a real cool aspect of what he's doing.
It's a good song. Yeah.
It's a good song.
I dig it.
And the drums, again, he's a drummer, he was really a drummer first and foremost. And man, here he shows his chops on the drums. Again, it's like any band would love to have Wolfgang on drums. Any band, Van Halen had Wolfgang on bass, any band would love to have Wolfgang on guitar. Any band would love to have Wolfgang as lead singer. I mean, he does it all.
He does.
He's world-class at everything.
Versatile.
And it's just, it starts to build. Of course, we go into another celebration, which was our introduction to Wolfgang Part 2. And what can you say about that? Great fun video, and again, everything about him it's like, okay, he's improved, he's back, but he's better than ever, and wow. And he introduces the band, in a very cool, fun way and everything, even though the band's not playing on the record at all, but it's still kind of a cool, it's cool that he not tipped his hat to the guys, for all the work that they've done with him.
Yeah. And
gave him some spotlight, and even Uncle Pat makes a little cameo in the video there in the bar scene.
In the bar, yeah.
But, and a ripping solo, and again, a little, there's a lot of tapping on this record. That's one thing. Like, tapping is back, people. Tapping is back. Wolfgang's back. And it's not in the most obvious way either. Sometimes it's just a little thing that he's doing, like a keyboardish type of line in the background or something. But
about
it's
one third of the solo on Take a Bow. There's two sections to the solo where he does tapping. They're not tied together. They're broken out.
Solo, man.
It's really, it's if you close your eyes and you listen, you hear it. You hear
Take a Bow. I mean, like I said, that's my favorite song on the record. That's solo. If it hadn't been for Nuno doing such an incredibly over the top solo with Extreme, I'm still going to say Wolfgang solo of the year though, because you know why? It hits you emotionally. On so many levels, first of all, when you find out that he's playing his dad's guitar and you hear that sound, it's so familiar and everything like that. But the notes he's playing, it's Gilmore-esque, but it's Eddie too, and it's Wolfgang.
His dad's amp.
Yeah, the rig.
Yeah,
he's using the rig. But it's got Ed's tone. He's got some of Ed's phrases here and there, but it's also got this wonderful bluesy thing going on, and it's emotional. It's it's the notes are well crafted. It's melodic. And it's a really, really just a great accomplishment on his own part, statement of himself as a guitarist.
It's fresh and new.
Yeah.
He has managed to give us fresh and new. And just as a little kind of thing to this, when I was talking about him doing, and you can hear some things from Eddie, in no way is he emulating anything that Eddie did, verbatim. You can just hear little things if you put your mind to it and listen, close your eyes. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah. It's just, it's part of him, You know, that's the thing. I won't call it, you know, we talked about the DNA thing. You know, I talked with Wolf about it. He says, no, it's a lot of hard work. You know, it's not just DNA. But there is, he's been around this all his life, you know, and my God, you know, it's a big part of who he is. So,
hey Chris, in those interviews, when you guys, you've been to 5150, was Wolf ever there? Well, was Wolf ever there when he was really young? What age did you meet him? And did you ever happen to catch him sitting behind Alex's Uncle Al's kit? Because I saw an interview, just a quick little, I saw an interview he did last week, and he's talking about when he was 8 or 9 years old, Al would get up to go to the bathroom at 5150, and he'd jump behind the kit and play with it until he came back. And he was telling that story. You guys should check it out. It's brilliant. But I wanted to ask you about it.
No, I met him first when he was 3 years old. And that's the first time I went up to interview. First time I went to 5150, 1994. And he came in later, like we were doing the photo shoot. I wasn't doing photos at the time. We had Karen Miller was doing a really great photo shoot with him in the main studio area, the main tracking room, you know, with Ed's amps and everything. And
wow.
And Valerie comes in with Wolf, you know, and Wolf runs over to his, you know, they were out doing whatever during the day, and, you know, Wolf runs over to Dad, you know, and they have a moment and everything. And that was really cool to see. But that was like I never really saw him play, you know, before, except for just the stuff on stage on tour, you know. So no, I never did.
Never got to see him play drums, because, you know, he's a drummer. He's evidently he's a brilliant drummer. The thing that I find really ironic is I didn't realize just how accomplished a guitar player he was until the Taylor Hawkins tribute. That's when I really realized. We all did. All right.
Yeah.
But I bet he can kick it just like Uncle Al.
Oh yeah, no,
he can do it, and that's just fascinating to me. I think that's brilliant.
No, he can definitely kick it like Uncle Al. I mean, I never got to see him play drums as a kid, you know, before, so I never got to see that part of it. But you know, but did see him early on. He just, you know, he was just around. You know, it was a thing. But he was just a kid to me. I put that snippet up on my YouTube page where during that interview in '94, I was talking with Ed about the future, you know, and it's like, and here you see Wolfgang now, and it's like, you know, Ed predicted it, you know, Wolf predicted it though too. Wolf said, like, you know, he was in the room, you know, upstairs at 5150 where Ed had all his guitars, and they've been moved to different locations now. But you know, Wolf was like looking at little Wolfie was looking at all these guitars hanging up on the ceiling, going like, you know, when I get big, I'm gonna play guitar. You know, and Ed was like, yeah, you know, he was just like, I was so proud of my son. You know, it's like, yeah, because it just, you know, Ed wanted exactly what Wolfgang did.
Yep.
You know, like Wolf completely satisfied all of Ed's dreams, you know, as far as his musical aspirations and everything. And like, oh, if only Ed could see Wolf now, you know, my gosh, you know, with this record and everything and what he's doing and what he's become and everything. And I know we all are pining for a tribute concert, but the tribute's Wolfgang, you know.
Yeah.
He made a comment about that just last week, and he said, the interviewer said to him, what about a tribute? And he looked at her with the most serious look. He didn't even blink. And he said, nope. He said, nothing. Yeah. It's been done. He says, as far as he was concerned, and I may misquote this a little bit, but what he did with Taylor Hawkins and with that
was it. Yeah.
That was it.
That was it. That's what he told me, you know, a couple of weeks after, you know, after he did that. Yeah. But yeah, that's, you know, but what he's doing is a tribute to his dad. This is what, you know, his dad loved his son so much. His dad wanted nothing more for his son than to become a musician and to follow in the footsteps of Jan and Ed and Alex, you know, and the family thing. And that's why, you know, when he joined the band, and, you know, different kind of truth and all that, you know, in 2007, 2008, you know, those final years, you know, and now this, you know, that's the tribute. That's the tribute. You know, the fact that he's carrying on this, you know, doing his own music, his own sound, instead of just rehashing the Van Halen stuff is much a tribute to his dad, because it's like, okay, here's some new fresh stuff. Let's bring in some new blood, you know, and let's keep this rock thing going for as long as we can, because man, we're getting old.
He's done more than than that. He's created a new brand. You know, Wolf. I think Wolf is. This is going to change rock music.
I think
You
so,
know,
and
in
it
10,
really
15 years.
starts
Said
with
that
this record.
before.
You know,
Yeah.
the next song on the record, "Miles Above Me." Again, a
But
great.
he's also carrying on his dad's brand also.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Well, especially with the EVH gear, you know, just stuff. You know, he's carrying on that aspect of it, and that's. You know, there's a certain group of us out there. That's what we live for. You know, it's like we're still striping our guitars, you know, and we're still trying to figure out exactly what did Ed do on the first record, you know, and
we just did a show with Donnie Ward last month, and we're still talking about new stuff. It's never going to stop, guys. It will never stop.
And Ed left behind so many surprises and stuff, and you know, whether he knew it or not, you know, whether it was just he was just doing what he was doing, but it's like, my gosh, there's always something that's going to pop up, you know, out of this or that or the other. I mean, that's well, I'll bring that up with the next song after this, but you know, Miles Above Me, another great song. It's heavy pop is the best thing I can call it. It's again, it's like the Foo Fighters, you know, in a flippin', you know, Formula One racer. You know,
it seems like he's making an intentional effort to appeal to multiple genres.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So he can have massive playability across the board.
I mean, the overall overriding theme is it's rock. You know, it's definitely rock. It's guitar rock,
guitar driven. The guitar tones mostly are pretty heavy, you know, throughout. You know, there's some lighter stuff here and there, you know, but it's there's no acoustic ballads, there's no keyboard songs, you know, it's guitar rock, you know, and I think you know, again, the Foo Fighters have dominated kind of this guitar rock arena for a while now, but I think they've got some heavy competition now coming from Wolf. You know, I think Wolf's going to probably surpass Dave here in a short while because Wolf's got the songwriting chops, man. He's got the playing chops, you know, and he's on it, you know, that's all I can say. And he's got a ripping band too. We haven't even seen his best yet.
No, we haven't.
This is like, you know what this is like? This is like the original Van Halen album when it came out. That's what it's like. And as fans, we're just taking it an album at a time. And I'm giddy over this new album.
Oh, we're just getting ready for Van Halen 2. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, Van Halen 2.
You're going to be really giddy when you hear this record because I mean, it's just it's such a it's just there's all killer no filler, as they say. You know, it's just there's not a single bum track on the record.
I like that.
It takes you on a journey, which I love. It's an album. It's not just a collection of singles. It takes you on a journey. It goes through emotional ups and downs, and there's plenty of production things going on to keep your ears interested. It's a classic, you know, it's almost a prog rock album, except it's not mountains coming out of the sky and long organ solos and whatever. You know, it's tight and concise, but it's got this epicness to it. You know, it
almost sounds like it's something for everyone.
Yeah. It goes beyond like, you know? It's just rock or it's this or that. It has an international appeal.
Yes.
Yeah, well, definitely.
An international appeal.
And I'm glad that Wolf is getting out there and playing in Europe, you know, playing the places that unfortunately Van Halen didn't get to in the final years. So
and Chris, he was last week on that interview, he was joking about it, but he said he got into a couple of venues in Europe that were so hardcore.
Yeah.
And he couldn't play distance.
Yeah.
That's how hardcore they were. He couldn't play distance. And
no, but that's
cool. But he hung. He totally hung.
Well, and he can. I mean, I don't know if he broke out any material from the new record. I don't think so. But that's the thing. I can't wait to hear this new material live. I want to hear Take a Bow live. I want to hear Optimist live. I want to hear, you know, any number of these songs live. You know, I unfortunately I'm not going to the show on Friday out here in at the Meadowlands at Giant Stadium, whatever they call it now.
Yeah, MetLife Stadium. That's the 4th on the day the record comes out.
The day the record comes out, and I'm sure he's going to be breaking out some of the new tunes, and I'm kind of bummed, but I just can't deal with that crowd like that anymore. I'm not like an old man or anything like that. It's just like, oh man, it's just, you know, I've gone to so many things at the Meadowlands, and it's just like I just don't have the patience for the overload, you know.
Mammoth is stateside now. They started tonight in New York and Buffalo.
Yeah.
And I think they're playing all week in MetLife Stadium on the 4th.
I'm kind of bummed because, you know, when I talked with Wolf in late February when I saw him back here in New Jersey, because they were supposed to be in Japan in July when I was there. And I was like, oh, I wanted nothing more than to see him playing in Japan, but that didn't come together, unfortunately. But yeah, when they told me that, you know, I said, oh, I'm going to Japan in July. And he's like, oh, we're going to be there too. I'm like, oh, we have to coordinate, you know, schedules here. We have to link up, you know. It didn't happen. But if he does, I might go over for that because I would just love to see him with the Japanese audience. And they love rock over there. Like I said, the 80s never died over there. Yeah. Mr. Big just played there. You know, they were just played at Budokan. 2 nights sold out.
Nice.
At Budokan, you know. And just like I said, you go around and it's just you hear 80s rock everywhere, you know, and then just even their pop music over there has awesome guitar solos. I mean, Marty Friedman's playing probably about 90% of them, you know, but it's like it's still there's like some great stuff out there. Like I said, this band Psychoma, you know, and Love Bites and all that. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg of all the great guitar-based bands out there, and they rip and they shred, man. They are just technically advanced, you know, and tasty, you know, and just really cool stuff, you know. And it's again, it didn't die over there, so it's cool.
There's your dates. They start tonight.
Yeah,
you know, I keep overlooking the fact that Seven Dust is playing on that show, and they are flipping awesome live. Seven Dust stuff
on the 4th is a part of this tour.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's cool.
Yeah. But all week leading up to that, you got the Pawns and Kings tour.
Stone Pony tomorrow. I might have to drive down for that. That's outside, so I can sit outside and, you know, and soak it in. So,
and I think once November comes, we have this
headline.
I think I'll be going to that one in Boston.
Yeah, you got to go to that. These are going to be the shows to see, people.
Yes,
this is the stuff. If you're going to see a Mammoth show, which I recommend seeing as many as you can, but if you're going to see a Mammoth show and you can only go to one, go to these headlining shows because it's going to be the full deal here. It's going to be, you know, so much material from the new album. And this is just the first leg of it. There's more to come. So,
we're praying that they'll add a show here in the Carolinas.
They should.
Complaining about it for like a month now. I'm sorry.
I told him when I saw him, I said, Wolf, I know some people who dearly want to see you in North Carolina. It's like, it's not like I come up with this stuff, dude. You know, it's like
he has no control over that, right?
Yeah, he did the booking agency. They've got the promoters and they've got to all coordinate and whatever, and it's whatever. But it is part of the plan is to hit every corner of the United States at some point. So, or at least be within a couple hours drive.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
you know, it's funny because we're not just like trying to see Wolfgang. We're trying to see WVH. I want to see him a couple of times.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's going to be something to follow. I mean, I think, and then see him now, you know, because it's like, you know, the next couple of tours they're going to be bigger venues. It's going to be harder to get tickets.
That's true.
Well, on the bigger tours that they're on, it's set in stone. But he could very well add dates along the way, and he's done that in the past. So.
And he has done that in the past, and that is something to consider. And it just may be logistics. It may be like who's booked, where they want to play, that sort of thing, and if they can find an opening. So fingers crossed. I mean, he's aware. You know, he's well aware of North Carolina. And like I said,
You can remind him, North Carolina, South Carolina, hey, you'll sell out.
He's looking to dominate anyways. He wants to hit everywhere. I mean, that's the thing. It's like no stone unturned. So it's he wants to play. I mean, my gosh, the guy is just not taking a break.
He's just been touring constantly.
That's a good thing.
He's been out there touring, and then when he has time off in the studio, pumping out new record and everything.
What is the wedding date?
Here, but he had to do promotional stuff and some video stuff and whatever. But in September is going to be a little bit of downtime, and that's when I hope to meet up with them and have a good in-depth conversation. But beyond that, after September, it's going to be go again, probably for another year. So, with a little break again in between to do, Mammoth WVH 3. So,
wow.
Yeah.
He's motivated, it's good. It's, I think it's just, that's what you got to do. You got to go out there and you got to get to the people, and he wants to get to the people. So it's not like he wants to, the road. It's so tough. He loves it. He loves being out there.
Did they set a date for the wedding in between sometime when he's on break?
It's supposed to be in September sometime. So I'm not sure the exact date, but that seems to be the general plan.
Good for him.
Wedding bells.
She's a beautiful girl.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. But let's see. I was just talking a little bit more about the songs. I mean, Miles Above Me, I mentioned that bridge scrape thing. It's just, there's like one section there where just a little stop and then clink, It's just, there it is, running with the devil, and there's a really cool kind of tremolo picking part that's like very Radiohead, actually, it reminded me of,
really?
It's kind of thing. I was just, again, there's little bits and pieces you pick up of stuff here and there, because I know he's into like stuff like Muse and things like that, and it's like you hear these little things pick up. Again, they're not rip-offs, they're just inspired by. So, and a really great chorus on that song. Take a Bow, again, you guys have heard it, you should know it. Epic arrangement. It builds, it gets bigger and bigger. I just think it's just an amazing recording accomplishment, and to hear that on a big, loud, clean sound system, and to hear him play it live, I think is going to be even more phenomenal.
Watching it, there's several, right? You can hear all three of these songs have been released in multiple viewings on YouTube right now. And one of the things that's really neat about it is while you're getting fan material, they're showing their stuff up on YouTube. You hear them talking and you hear the background talking as the new songs are being played, and you hear how the crowd is receiving the new music. And I was enjoying the heck out of that, man. They are just loving it, eating it up. They sound so good live.
Yeah.
The band, another thing, he's really there's a word I'm trying to come up with here. I don't know. He's so confident.
Yeah.
That's the word. He's confident. He started out at 15 years old covering Michael Anthony's vocals, right?
Yeah.
And he has now worked himself into the position of a bona fide lead singer.
Oh yeah, by far.
And his voice has developed to the point where he is now you hear him, you'll hear his music on the radio, you hear him singing, you go, hey, that's Wolf.
Yeah. No, definitely. He's got a voice, he's got a personality, and just again, vocal chops for days.
Yeah.
A bona fide lead singer and like that, but then you hear him doing harmonies. I mean, he's doing the harmonies.
Yes.
And there's some really complex vocal harmony stuff going on in a few segments on the record. And it's just like, holy crap, this guy is just, again, man, to envision this and to put it together, that's a supreme talent. It's not just
write the music he writes.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about Elvis. He talks a lot about Elvis though in his interviews. If you do this kind of work and you create music only yourself and you just get introverted and you just bury yourself within your own, you got to bounce that music off somebody else.
Yeah.
And so he was talking in his last interview. It's really good. You guys need to check it out. about Elvis and how I don't want to use the word muse. For some reason, I keep that word muse is in my mind, and it's so far beyond that.
It's definitely a collaboration.
Exactly.
And I think the thing is that Wolf, I won't speak for Elvis's own musical talents, but Elvis, the mixing board is his instrument, and the production and all that. He is an artiste with that, and it really shows because he's a really world-class producer. And you hear this on this record. If only we could have heard a different kind of truth done with this type of production. It would have been just a phenomenon. And I mean, there's some great moments on a different kind of truth, but there's something about just. It just needed something else, and I don't know if this would have been the right type of approach, but it's like, holy crap, it's just like this again. It's a modern record. It's like a Marvel movie, out there, special effects, and just it's state of the art. And there's so much clarity, there's so much punch, the silence is more silent than silence, if you know what I mean. It's like it just goes to these things where everything cuts out, just like boom, back in tight. The drums are punchy, they're not, nothing's muddled, everything's tight, and again, it's just for him to get everything, just all those guitar parts and the bass and everything just so locked in. And just again, big sound, and it's hard to do. I've done my share of production, and it's hard to get bass to sound that big and tight without dominating everything else and washing it out, and all the finer nuances and everything. And yet it's so dialed in. But I think that's the thing. I think he complements Wolfgang. Wolf has got all this musical, vocal talent and everything, and Elvis just helps him polish that and bring it forth in like the best possible light, tighten everything up. And I think they both kind of share a similar vision too, as well. So I think they're just, they're kind of locked in.
It's amazing that go ahead, Ed. Go ahead, bro.
Chris, do you think, does Wolf write the lyrics first and then the music, or vice versa?
I don't know. That's going to be what we're going to talk about. Is how every single piece of his stuff comes together. We're going to dig into that.
Does Elvis have any influence on any of the lyrics, or just the sound?
I have no idea. I would think, knowing Wolf, that probably it's all Wolf.
Yeah. So it's not a Bernie Taupin, Elton John thing. It's
not at all.
No.
Yeah, I think I think Wolf's got that. He's got all that stuff down. I mean, the thing is, Wolf is a big fan of music, first of all. So, he absorbs a lot of stuff out there. And I think that's kind of one of the best things that you can be, is to be interested in all these different types of music and curious and everything. Yes. And that shows in, what he's done. And, it's good because he's a craftsman, and again, like I said, there's influences out there, but this time around they're not so obvious. And it's like, oh, that reminds me of, but it's like, oh, that's not like, that's directly from that, or that's he's doing this type of song or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're hearing more little bits and pieces of stuff. And it's like, oh, like the one thing that tremolo picking part was, I was trying to think, what does this remind me of? It's like, oh wait, there's a Radiohead song that kind of reminds that it has a part that's kind of like that, but he's not playing the same lick or anything. Mm-hmm. It's kind of got that guitar texture and that kind of quick, kind of like a balalaika kind of thing going on. And it's like, that's the only thing the note thing I could put together. It's like, yeah, it's kind of like some of that British, alternative stuff that was going on in like the early 2000s, kind of Muse, Radiohead, that kind of thing.
Right.
When you said Elvis, though, the first thing that comes to mind is Ed and Don.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the thing too, is because, the 5150's been revamped, and that's been a lot of, just like Don had his input about what to put in 5150. Well, now Elvis has come in and said, like, I want, we should get this, we should get that,
Well, I think Charles is right, though. He's got these ideas, and rather than explaining to your buddies how to do vocal harmonies, just do it yourself. How many times have you thought that? you need to bounce that off at least somebody.
Yeah, yeah. And somebody who knows how to mix those parts together, and and maybe could say like, okay, well maybe that doesn't quite work, and especially when you're stacking things together as deeply as some of these vocal harmonies are done, you're gonna need to say like, well, yeah, that's maybe try this note or try singing it this way, that kind of thing. So just something sound better, whether it's an ooh or an ah or whatever, or however you're doing it. But did also, let's see, Optimist. I mean, that's I know that's Matt Bruck's favorite song on the record. I think it's the heaviest song on the record. If I remember correctly, I think Ed's using the baritone, the Chart de Violet Citron baritone. That it was Ed's, and it was seen in some of the early 5150 studio shots. It was a mystery guitar to me for a long time. Alan Garber and I were both going back and forth on like, what the hell is that guitar? And finally I stumbled across a decent quality photo where you could actually see the logo, and I saw the V on there, and that's like, okay, clue number one. And then finally managed to dig it up and found that there's only like about maybe 14 of them that were ever made. Wow. And they just, it's funny because I had just talked with Wolfgang about that. And then I saw on his Instagram a couple of weeks later the Viet Citron baritone. They mentioned that, oh yeah, I recorded it. And I thought, well, maybe I planned the idea in his head. And it's like, well, it wasn't quite, that, but it was a happy accident because basically they've cataloged all the guitars at 5150, all of Ed's guitars. They cataloged them after Ed passed, and so they have a database. They know exactly where everything is, and they decided that for that, I think it was for Optimist. I'm gonna have to find out, but it's like they decided they needed a baritone, and so they went in the database, looked up baritone, and said like, oh, okay, we've got 6, 10 of them or whatever. They tried all these different ones out, and the Viet just happened to win. It just happened to sound just right for it. But I thought that was really cool that we'd been just talking about that, and it ended up on the record. So that was excellent. Just
super cool.
A cool thing. But it's again, Optimist. It's emotional. It's kind of like the perfect A to B to take a bow. They kind of cover similar territory. They're similarly heavy, but I think again, Optimist is really. I could see that fitting perfectly in opening for Metallica. It's brooding, it's dark.
Wow.
It's textural. There's parts of it that remind me of Tool, but without being Tool. Again, not so much like, I forget what the song was on the first album. That was like a direct, kind of a Tool thing with the rhythmic thing going on and everything. No solo on that song though, unless my most recent listen, I might have missed it, but I don't recall there being a solo on that either. So, but it's just grooving, heavy, bassy, Mammoth,
Excellent.
So, and that, I don't know if that's the end of the actual side one or not. I mean, that's 6 songs out of the 10, but then the record kind of shifts to a pop thing. And I think this might be a good time for us to make a transition maybe to the trivia question.
Okay, so that's the last song on side one, Chris?
Well, I don't know if it is or not. It's the 6th song, so it may be the first song on side 2. I'm thinking probably because it's a longer song too, and I don't know on the vinyl. Vinyl still has its limitations. So my guess is, it's song 6, but to me, it's like it would make a perfect end to a side 1 if you whatever. But it could also make a great opener for side 2. It kind of picks up where Take a Bow left off. So
these little nuggets are they're making my mouth water. I can't wait Friday. Yeah, damn.
What I can't wait is to absorb the album, get all those songs in my brain, and then go see them live and see how they do them differently live with the different guitars and how they're going to work it all out.
Yes.
It's going to be super special.
Last album, Chris, when it came out, I think I kept it in the CD player for 6 months.
Yeah, you'll keep this one in for a year.
Hey, Chris, real quick. Monique, hey, Monique, how you doing?
Hi, Monique.
Ask, is Wolf 31 or 32?
Hold on.
He's got to be 32.
He's born 91.
I believe he's 32.
91.
Yes, he's 32 now, so.
Yeah, March. Yep. 316.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. We just got to take care of Monique. Right there.
316, baby. Yes, sir. All right. So yeah, let's take a break. We'll do some trivia. We're gonna play for a 71D quarter and $1,000,000 Van Halen bucks. How about it?
$1,025,000.
Time to go to the fridge, get you a refill. All right. So we're going to play what we call nearly impossible Van Halen trivia. So I don't think that the question tonight is that hard.
Chris got it right away.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, he did.
It took me a while to going through the files, though. But
Yeah.
Yeah, but so if you are the winner, I'll be very happy to mail you out this 71D quarter and $1,000,000 Van Halen bucks. There's a trivia winner's email down below. Email me your name and address. I'll mail that stuff out with some other cool stuff, I'm sure, in your prize pack. Good luck. Cozy up to your keyboard, kids. We're going to get into it. This is nearly impossible Van Halen trivia. All right. August the 1st edition. Are we ready? Get ready. First correct answer that we see in the chat is the winner. Okay. The title of this Van Halen singer's album was derived from an English slang term for a man's erection. Name the album.
You were waiting to do that, Tony.
Yeah,
You had it ready.
that's funny.
All right, kids.
Oh, I see it right away.
Where's it at?
Kurt 5150.
I see it. I see it. He did it. Kurt!
Way to go, Kurt.
Standing Hampton. Everybody all together now.
Kurt.
Kurt, you are the winner. Dude, you did it, man.
That's awesome.
Coolness.
Right there,
I'll
Kurt.
mail you out this cool prize pack. I think I have your address, Kurt, but resend that so I'm sure I'll send you some other cool stuff, some cool new guitar picks, including the newest from Charles Green, which nobody has yet, except me and Randy Price has one, or he's got one in the mail.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Standing Hampton from 1982. That was a good album, Charles.
One hell of an album.
I loved it.
Life-changing album. Are you kidding? Life-changing, brother. You know, it's funny. Monique in the chat, she says, how the hell you people know this stuff with a bunch of question marks? They're crazy, Monique. That's what it is. They're just driven and crazy. I swear to God.
Longtime fans.
Yep.
Eric, welcome.
Right there, Eric. Right there, brother.
Yeah. So if you're just joining, we are joined by special guest Chris Gill. We're talking about the new Mammoth II, new album coming out this Friday, August the 4th. Waiting to get our little hands on it. And there's merch too. I've got some merch goodies coming along with the CD. Yeah.
I can't wait to see the pics.
Yeah, I know. So
that's going to be cool.
I've ordered a couple of things of those. So we'll open one here on the show, and we'll give those things away. Mammoth picks for everybody. Hell yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, we'll bust them open on Friday. We get the stuff in the mail on the release day. I'm sure we will. We'll do an extra little live stream, little listening, little something. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Might
That's gonna
even
be a lot of
little
fun.
something else too. Yeah. But yes. So Chris, you've heard this for a little while now, a few weeks.
A couple months now. Yeah, it's I feel so privileged, and it's I've shared it with a few people, but I've had to kind of keep it under wraps, and it's so difficult because it's just like, oh gosh, man, it's this record is just so good, and my next door neighbor actually is going to Metallica, here on Friday, with Mammoth and Pantera opening.
That's
for them, but it's like, I want to play him the record, and it's like, I guess I can. I don't know. I mean, the single listening parties, I guess, are okay. It's just sharing stuff online that I could get in trouble. And I'm like, I even like talking now. I want to play little sound bites, but I'm afraid that the powers that be.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah,
we'll
waited.
Be abstract.
We've waited long enough. We can wait a couple more days.
A few more days, and it will be worth the wait. I mean, it's just just reserve a block of time. Reserve, an hour. Get your favorite beverage and kick back, and the best sound system you've got to listen to stuff. In your household or your car or wherever.
Yes.
I love it. It's a great road record. I took a few people out, and I have a BMW convertible, and just went upstate and drove around cranking the damn thing super loud. And I can only imagine what people who heard it just passing by, what they were thinking, or what.
Who's that?
Anybody
no idea.
But
Nice.
It's a great road record. In fact, I plan on spending this weekend doing exactly that, going upstate, up in the hills, up in the Catskills, and just cranking the record up with the top down. Hopefully it doesn't rain. Hopefully there's no thunderstorms. But it sounds phenomenal. Like I said, just get ready, folks. Get ready. I've been telling people for a while, get ready, but get ready, tighten your shoes, pull up your pants. But
wow. Back to the album list, if we could go back to it for a minute. You just covered song 6, is that correct?
Yeah, so 6 we covered Optimist, which I said is the heaviest song, and then the album goes into a shift. That's why I said it does, even though it's 6 songs, it's not really to me it's just like I hear a break in it, and I'm putting together things like it was. Again, the sequencing on the record is great too. It's not just a bunch of a collection of songs. It takes you on a journey. Mm-hmm. The sequencing makes sense. It's an album. It's not a collection of singles. So sit down and listen to it all the way through, from beginning to end, if you can. If you can't, wait. Because you really want to just sit and absorb it, and turn off the phone, put away the social media, turn off the TV, blow up the news. Just put yourself on mental vacation and absorb this record. Lie down like you're at the psychiatrist's office with your feet up. Like I said, get a beverage and just chill and listen to this record. Because it's there's records nowadays are few and far between that take you on a journey, and this record does that. It takes you on a journey.
That's outstanding.
So Chris, this record, we've already gotten 3 songs before it's even out, and there is a 4th coming out tomorrow.
Yes.
And I will talk about that. I think it's Erase Me, but I'm not certain, because there's, again, at this point, the record shifts to a more pop kind of, it goes from this heaviness and this broodiness and this darkness and everything, and goes to a little bit more of a pop kind of angle, and it gets a little bit lighter, and the arrangements start to open up a little bit. There's a little bit more space, things aren't quite as dense. But I think Erase Me is probably, because it's that between that and Waiting, which I don't think it's Waiting, because Waiting's a love song, and the graphic that Wolf put up on his social, there's a dartboard with a bunch of pictures of him with darts through them. I'm thinking it's got to be Erase Me, just based on that, because it's got a great. Well, since we're skipping here, but let me talk first about the song before that, which is I'm All Right. And of course, we all know that song from Caddyshack, right? Kenny Loggins, right? Yeah. No, it's not that. It's not. It's same title. There's no dancing gophers. So rest assured, people, it's not a Kenny Loggins song. It's if I could call it anything, it's the great Kiss song that Kiss never made. And it's really beyond that, because it's like if Kiss was even at a higher level of songwriting and everything like that, it's got this great classic stomping kick drum thing in the intro, where it's just like the boom, 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 hands in the air, people rock. Oh, how you doing, Philadelphia?
Crowd pleaser.
Crowd pleaser. It's something to get into, and there's this little piano line thing going on, kind of Christine 16 din, 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 thing going on in there. And, it's a rock stomper, and it's got this little twist in the bridge, though, which kind of is a cool thing, because it's like, oh, it's going in this direction. And no, it kind of shifts gears in the bridge. And it's like, again, ear candy. He's throwing surprises at you. And then the solo comes up, and it's a good old fat mid-range wah guitar. And I've heard that Uncle Pat actually is manipulating the wah. I don't know what the story is, which I'm sure I think he's mentioned in a couple interviews, but Uncle Pat's like basically, operating the wah while Wolf's doing whatever he needs to. I don't know what else, if he had to do some other switching on some stuff or whatever to play it live, but the story is that Uncle Pat's actually manipulating the wah while Wolf's doing the playing.
Wow.
But it's cool. A great rock tone. It's again, these 70s. We haven't heard guitar tones like these since the 70s. They're just this big, fat vocal mid-range with this wah going on. It's classic sounding. It's really, really cool. And there's tapping again, and there's a build-up, and it's like a great little solo that goes on in there. And you just have to hear it. That's all I can say. It's really tasty, and there's some really cool licks that he's playing there, and it's his own thing. I mean, again, he's doing the tapping, but he's not doing the Eddie thing. He's doing something else altogether. Yeah. And it's again, some great guitar playing, some really good stuff on the solos there for all of us out there. And I'm pretty sure it's the SA-126 again, because it's just got that honking sound going on. But yeah, great song. Then Erase Me, like I said, I think that's the single that we're going to be hearing tomorrow. Which makes sense. It's the soccer moms are going to love it, but it's also the
soccer moms are going to love it. This is great,
and the soccer dads, and and the pool playing guys and whoever, it's a really cool pop song.
It's interesting how Wolf has some that are lyric videos and some are not.
Yeah, and I think
even on these, some are and some aren't.
I think this is going to be the big push. This is just my prediction. I don't know for sure. I don't have any insider information. I'm going off of one photo on social media. I think there's going to be a video. But if I was a record executive, if I was at A&R at the label that he's signed to now, I would say, like, okay, guys, this is the one we got to put out. This is the one that the rock radio is going to put on. And you're going to make you a big star, kid. So Erase Me. That's the song. Let's do a video for that. Who can we get? Who can get directed? Yeah, we'll get him on the phone. But I don't know. I'm just guessing. There's going to be a full-fledged video, just like there was with another celebration. And I can't wait to see it, because that was really fun. And I'm sure he'll have something kind of fun going on with this one too. That just seems to be part of the Wolfgang oeuvre these days.
Got the best sense of humor, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Good sense of humor. Yeah, and his acting chops are getting better, so he's taken after his mom, as well as his dad. And
I like the videos. I can't wait till tomorrow. Now, you have a question down there, also, Chris.
Yeah, I need to do that. I need to sell some prints. Gosh, I am me. Send me a message through my Instagram or whatever, and if there's something you see out there, I need to scan stuff. There's a guy who owns Ed's the original PV Wolfgang, the red one that he used, before it was really official. They're on the ambulance tour or the balance tour. I have some photos of that from very early on, and I think I put that guy out for a year, so I need to go and get those like high resolution scans done, get some prints made up. So, I'll do those in the near future. I think my schedule's kind of lightening up a little bit. Although I just, like I said, I just shot a bunch of video in Japan that I need to edit and put together, and
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of material on my YouTube here coming up. So, but once I get that done, then I can concentrate on getting some of the photo stuff out. And I got a ton of stuff. I need to go through my archives. I mean, it's all mostly shot on film. So that's part of the whole thing of it. I got my high-res scanner here, but I've also got services in Manhattan that I go to. And one day soon, I will do that.
Very cool. Very cool.
And it's people like you, Randy, that get me motivated to do this stuff, because I don't know people. I had so many times where I was shooting photos of bands, and like I'd be there in the pit and before the show, and like some guy would be like, "Hey, take a picture of me and my girlfriend," and whatever. And it's like, okay. And it's like I'd give him my business card and say, "Here, call me or send me an email, and I'll get you some prints." And then you never hear from the people. And it's like, what the fuck? I took a nice photo of you and your girlfriend, and then you don't call me. What the fuck? Jesus, Vinny. What I gotta do here? Get some respect.
Oh man, that is so cool.
But I go through all these pictures. I see these people. Like, who are these people? It's like, oh yeah, those are the people who asked me to take their picture and never got back to me. So,
oh man,
tough, Andy.
But Erase Me, great pop song. It's a hit. It's a hit, kids. It's going to the number one on the American Bandstand charts.
All right.
So, and then after that, Waiting, it kind of brings the intensity down, but it's a pop song again. But like I said, it's the lighters or cell phone in the air song. It's kind of got this nice, again, very airy kind of guitar thing going on, and really, romantic vocal part. It's a love song. It's a bona fide love song, and no guitar solo on it, but it's well crafted. Kid's got talent, man. He's just got, he can do any number of genres and do it well. And I think that's the thing about it. I think that's the magic of this record, is that it doesn't sound out of place, though. It doesn't sound like something tacked on, or like an attempt like, oh, well, here's the hit song. Like you would get those, More Than Words, or, some of these other songs that you'd hear that are kind of out of place out of the record. It's like, oh, it doesn't quite, it's like whatever.
Right.
It's not a power ballad, but it's just a good old fashioned love song. Coming down 3-part harmony. So
there you go, little 3 Dog Night.
Yeah.
Nice
reference.
And then we get to Better Than You, where it kind of brings things back a bit, and it's got this interesting kind of off kilter 3/4 rhythm thing going on, kind of almost a waltz kind of thing going on. And it's dramatic, and it's heavy, but it's different. It's kind of like, okay, he's giving us maybe a glimpse at what's coming up. Is this what's next for him? Who knows? I don't know. Or did he just think this was a great song to end the record on? Probably that. But it's got probably the best vocal harmonies on it.
Really?
They're big. I don't want to say they're necessarily like Queen per se, but they remind me of, they remind me of Jellyfish. Remember the band Jellyfish? I don't know if you remember that in the early 90s.
Dude, sure.
Yeah, there's some of that kind of thing going on. It's where it's kind of almost the Beach Boys, but not quite. But, and we got to remember Van Halen, vocal harmonies were a big part of their sound too, and now Wolfgang's introducing his own little kind of twist on the vocal harmony thing. And it's a cool thing to hear. It's got these, for the tech heads out there, it's got these filter sweeps, very much electronic music type of thing going on, where things are kind of sound all muddy and then they become, tighter and clearer, and that it's a really cool thing that's going on. It's another long song. It's almost 7 minutes long.
Wow.
But it's dramatic. And it goes through these changes, it goes through these verses, these bridges, these choruses, it takes you in these different directions. And it's just, it's a masterpiece of songwriting. I mean, it's, maybe I'm gushing a bit here, but it's just something else. I mean, it's really, he's got a real talent. He's got a real sound. And I think this song really shows that off as much as anything else on the record. And it's less about the instrumental, showing off kind of thing. And just, it's just a song. It's just this, interesting, dramatic, great way to end the record, and it kind of fades at the end, and nice, long, slow fade and boom.
When you hear the first record for 2 years, Chris, as all of us have, and you heard this for 2 months, what's your comparison of two? Because we love the debut.
Yeah, the debut is great, but I think this record is just it's so much more of an artistic voice to me. As I've said before, I love the first record, but as I said, some of the influence stuff was a little bit obvious and a little bit on the head. And this time around, I'm hearing much more of an emergence of Mammoth, the Mammoth sound, the Wolfgang Van Halen sound. I think the band does figure into it, at least as how we're going to perform this live, and just digging the intensity of the band that he has and their capabilities. It's a great rock record, and it takes you on a journey. It's not a progressive rock record, but it takes you on a journey like a progressive rock record. And that's a rare thing nowadays, because usually it's just a collection of songs, but this has an ebb and a flow to it, and it's very well sequenced from beginning to end. As I said, you have these shifts. You go from this kind of heavy thing to this lighter pop thing, and then you kind of bring it back with this kind of interesting off-kilter dramatic song at the very end. And it's just, again, it's a journey, and it's mature. I think that's the other thing. I think the thing about the first album is it was kind of him finding his feet, getting his toes wet and everything. And I think he wasn't quite sure what direction he wanted to go, so he went in a lot of different directions. And this time around, I'm seeing him kind of like, yeah, he's going in different directions, but there's a certain thread here. There's a sound. There's a personality
path.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And, he has his own sound. Nobody sounds like. No, let me say it this way: he doesn't sound like anyone else.
No.
Right.
He doesn't in his vocal. I think his vocals have gone up another level too. That's the other thing.
He's become a lead singer. Period.
He's really become a lead singer.
In a band right now, as far as I'm concerned. And
you really hear it on this
his
record.
Chops. It's amazing. Yeah. It's impressive.
I mean, that's the thing. You listen to this and go like, "Holy crap!" He could have, I mean, the fans would never have let it happen, but he could have been Van Halen's lead singer. Maybe he doesn't have the image that we expect. He's not, the Red Rocker, and he's not Diamond Dave. He's much more of a sober. He's a big guy. So he's not that. He's not the rock god in the traditional sense that we've all have loved about Van Halen in various iterations, including Gary. And even the week that Mitch Malloy was in the band.
The week.
Well, he has not emulated himself after his father. He hasn't tried to be Van Halen in any way, shape, or form. The fact that he even pulled out some Van Halen for us at the Taylor Hawkins was incredibly special.
Oh, yeah.
That's not his gig, and he refuses to do that. He's been very vocal about that. So the fact that he's his own entity and he's doing his own thing and setting his own brand, he's a mountain.
Yeah,
He's a freaking mountain.
he is a mountain. It's like a pun, but this record is enormous. It's mammoth. It is mammoth. It's big sounding, man, and you can't be ignored. It's there. It's in your face. And
I'm so glad he's playing more guitar and showing his ability to play lead. Guitar-driven music. I love guitar-driven music, like all you guys. It's really important.
Well, he knows his audience, and that's an important thing. He knows his audience. Oh, I don't know if most people know this, but it's the same artist doing the artwork as did for the first one. So it's pre-existing artwork, but obviously Wolf likes this guy's work, and the guy likes giving permission to Wolf to use his stuff, and it fits.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. So it's kind of a cool thing to see that symbiosis, that kind of that continuation of sticking with the the same artist for the second record. So it's a cool thing. And maybe on the third record, maybe the guy will commission him to do something new. So that might be really cool.
So did Wolf have feel a tremendous pressure when writing this and putting it out? Do you know? Expectations are high. I mean, the last one had a Grammy nomination, for God's sake.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't think he's worried about that stuff. No.
Okay.
I can't speak for him, and he would have to answer that question. But I think there's just such a joy in what he does. There's such a positivity. It's hard not to smile when you're around Wolf. If you really get to know him and everything, he's just even though there's some dark content in his lyrics, and he can be pretty rough online with certain people, but rightfully so. There's a joy about him. It's like his dad, the smiles. There's a lot of. I love his dad, but his dad did have some dark side. At times, and there was times where he could be very brooding, and Wolf has a bit of that intensity about him, but there's just such this positivity about him that you just can't help but feel good. And
it's just funny talking about him getting a Grammy. Let's just remember. Nominated for a Grammy, but he was nominated against Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters and Paul frickin' McCartney, a Beatle.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
The fact that he was in that group, is unbelievable.
That's an honor right there.
I mean, you can look at that. That's just crazy.
And the thing is, he's not riding on his dad's coattails at all. I mean, this is all earned on his own. I mean, granted, we're all Van Halen fans and we're along for the ride, and there's a lot of that, but there's a lot of people who, don't care and are digging what he's doing.
And get Chris, that whole being along for the ride thing, that is so Van Halen, bro.
Yeah.
That is so Van Halen.
Yeah. But it's like we talked earlier about a tribute show and how great that would be, but I think, Ed's wishes, nobody knows what Ed's wishes were more than Wolf, and he was around him a lot in the end. He put off his career, he put off the record because of his dad at the end, just to be, spend time with them and everything. And Ed wanted nothing more than just for his son to continue this musical legacy, and just as, Ed and Al weren't out there playing Dixieland jazz and what have you, like their dad. They were doing their own thing, and they found success. And now Wolf's doing his own thing and finding success on his own terms. Maybe it's not quite as big, but it's a different time now too. And I think eventually that Mammoth will be playing Wembley as a headliner. And not talking Wembley Arena, I'm talking Wembley Stadium. That I think he's going to be giving the Foos a run for their money and for their dominance of this the modern rock universe. So
excellent. That's some nice looking merch, guys. Look at that.
Yeah, new merch right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's this new deal that he's got too. That's he's got the industry believing in him, which that tells you a lot right there. So that's you don't hear about that much these days. Usually it's a one-off album deal, if that. And it's like whatever you can scrape together. And the fact that what was it, 5-record deal I think that they put together or something, I forget, but it was like they put some big money behind them, and and a lot of firepower,
Mm-hmm.
for the industry, and you need that these days. You got to break through the noise. So it's a lot of belief in him.
That is so cool. That is so cool. My goodness. I will be going to 5150 here. Hopefully, I have to put it into stone, but I know Wolf won't be there, but I'm hoping to drop by the studio and hopefully give you guys an update on what's going on up there. I mean, I know that he's got other projects going on. I was told by Wolf's publicist that, if I'm going to 5150, I'm not going to see the setup for the record, and that's fine. I mean, I just know that he's upgraded it and that it is a working studio. That's not just Mammoth stuff going on there, but there's other projects going on there as well. So, and we didn't talk about the fact that that Wolf's on the Barbie soundtrack too. So,
oh yeah,
that's the other thing.
That is so cool.
Again, he's going places. That's the biggest movie out there right now. So,
yep, and Slash.
Yeah, and Slash.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of incidental stuff. I haven't seen the film, so I can't speak for what's in there. But it's he's following his dad. His dad was doing the wildlife stuff and all that, and he's doing this already, and he's only on his second record. So
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. It's just
busy guy.
Yeah.
Chris, we cannot wait for your interview with Wolf.
I can't wait either. I'm
going to say it like this. I'm anticipating this new album, but I really want to hear that interview, bro.
It's going to be a different thing. We talked about it. I talked with Damien over at Guitar World, and scheduling didn't work out, and I wanted to be the guy to do the Guitar World interview.
You are the guy that should do the Guitar World interview.
Right.
I've put that down, and I've even told the the powers that be over on the other side of the pond, because I get usurped a lot by the online stuff, and I have no say in that. And my whole thing is maintaining the relationship, but also trying to be his voice, and that's why we did that interview that last time. I mean, basically, the folks at Fender said what do you want to do? And Wolf said, I just want to do Guitar World. It's like Rolling Stone. They think, nope, just Guitar World. That's it, So, but we're going to do something different.
Get out, true, and to all of us, you're one of the most trusted journalists from the 80s, 90s, 2000. Your record has stood true through your entire career. You are a class act, Chris Gill.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Period.
Yeah, I don't do as much as I used to, but I'm moving into hopefully more of this travel.
None of us do, bro.
Yeah.
But okay, man.
I'm hoping that you guys will love this Japan stuff though, because I had some fun. I did kind of I did like my Fender thing is going to be a little spoof on Wes Anderson type of production. So the Fender flagship store. So it's got a little bit of humor in there. And then just some of again like just the Tokyo stuff. I mean the Bunny Island thing. It's not gear related at all. It's probably not going to fit on my page and my followers at all. But I just have to put it out there because it's so surreal.
I'll be right back, guys.
To get off a boat and to be attacked by bunnies.
When you started talking about that, I flashed back to a Monty Python scene, where the game. That's all I could think of, bro.
Well, you worry about that. It's like, well, if you don't have the pellets, are they going to eat you?
Jimmy Carter got attacked by a bunny, right?
You got hungry bunnies coming at you, man. They're like we got one of the first boats over there in the morning too. So that's the other thing is just, to get there is a bit of a, well, there's cities out there. I mean, there's lots of cities, but places that you really want to stay as a tourist, like Hiroshima is about the closest, and it takes you about an hour and a half to get out there, even taking the bullet train to the nearest city. Then you take this other train line down, then you take a ferry boat over, and that takes about 2 hours overall to get there. So we got there we left at like 6 something and got there at like 8:30, 8:45 in the morning. So the bunnies were all like rare, and anybody who went would have been locals, and it was almost 100 degrees that day. So it was like I don't think they were going out to Bunny Island, but wow. But it's insane. It's absolutely insane that they have this island that's inhabited by well over 1,000 tame rabbits.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. And we're gonna get to see pictures of all this on your website.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get the up close camera action,
That is too cool. The bullet train. Let me ask you. You rode the bullet train.
Oh yeah.
What was it like?
It's just the only way to go. I've taken New Jersey Transit and the Amtrak and all that other stuff.
Sure.
Brad Talinsky and I took the Amtrak down to Washington, D.C. from Newark, from New York City, to go see Ed at the Smithsonian. And getting there was fine, but getting home, our train broke down.
Oh no.
And it was another one of these incidents where it's like, I just have these things happen where it's like, I'm getting into Newark at like 3 or whatever. Like this, when I got back from Tokyo, it was the same thing. You get back at the wee hours and you've got just the most sketchy, whether it's a ride service or a cab or whatever, to get home. And you're just like, oh God.
Yeah.
But the bullet train's amazing. I mean, it's fast. Unfortunately, the passes just went up. We got a Japan pass and it was like $300. And this was with the green card. They have like a non-reserved ticket that you can buy that's even cheaper, like $250. And it's going up though in October.
Is that good for a whole year?
No, it's good for like a week for that price.
What? Oh, so it's for tourists. It's designed for tourism.
And you can only get it as a tourist. They have like 7-day and a 14-day, and I forget if it's a 21 or a 30-day pass that you can get. It's a great bargain, especially if you're doing like I did, where we used it a lot. Because even when we got into Hiroshima, we went out to this other island, which I can't remember what it's called, but it's a World Heritage site. They have a big red torii gate, it's these temple gates, and it's out in the middle of the ocean, off of this island. And it's, if you've seen these pictures of Japan, you've seen it. They just actually had the G7 out there and everything. They were on that. They had their meeting on that island. But that's the ferry boats. But that's part of it, So we really got our money's worth. I mean, we traveled all over. But the green car on the Shinkansen is just, it's awesome. You've got a lady walking through with a cart, that's loaded up with beers and snacks, and you got to buy them, and then like the conductors, they walk through, and when they reach the end of the train car on their way back, they bow. It's just like the level of service and the humility of these people and just their dedication to their jobs is just incredible. I mean, the other thing is that you don't have to tip out there. They frown on tipping. They are insulted if you tip.
Oh, wow.
So it adds to your savings.
Wow.
What's it, 20-25% on top of your bill here, and then with the exchange rate that we had, it was like I was getting stuff for it was just insane. I mean, it was just
That's
like
crazy. That's crazy.
And the pride that people take in their jobs, you don't have to worry about, we only had like an issue with service at one restaurant. I think it was just because they were really, really busy, but overall it's like, people take pride in their jobs, whatever they do. And, I mean, there is a little bit of, the one drawback is there are rules, and rules are rules. There's no bending of rules. This is how things are, and this is how they're done. And, when you're used to America where things are like, hey, well, can you make an exception or whatever, and you negotiate whatever. There, it's not, it's just like, no, this is how it's done. You do this. And sometimes that can be a bit of a drag. So
you speak that language, Chris?
What's that?
You speak that language?
I speak a little bit. I learned a few words and a few keywords that just did magic. That's one word I learned. There's this movie. It's animated. It's kind of funny. It's called Our Sound, Angaku Our Sound. And it's like these high school kids, and like they're just a bunch of thugs, and they form a band with 2 basses and drums. And it's just like they're just the most basic thing or whatever. But it's just this movie's hilarious. But I picked this word subarashi, which means wonderful or like awesome, so that was like a great word to throw out to people every now and then, because the other word I learned, I've learned a few things, but gochi sosama, after the end of a meal, especially if you say it to the cook, you as a Westerner, because it's basically like, it's almost like a blessing thing. It's almost like a religious thing. It's like, thank you, humbly thanking you for the nourishment that you provided to my body. Essentially is what that means in a nutshell, gochi sosama. And if you say that, because even Japanese don't say that in restaurants or whatever. So if you say that in a restaurant, especially to the chef, I mean, even the waitress, it's cool, but generally you want to say it towards the person who prepared your food. man, did the people just light up when I said that.
Excellent.
You know, that was really cool. But Google Translate is an amazing thing. You got in your phone. I had conversations with people where we just would Google Translate. You know, you talking to the mic, it would, you know. And the only time it was a problem was I got some prescription glasses at this one place. They do glasses in like an hour, and they have some pretty cool frames and everything. And
oh yeah,
the conversation got a little weird. Like it was like the sentence structure was all strange, and some of the word choices were odd. That was the only time. But like generally, like talking with taxi drivers, or there was like this guy at this coffee shop in Osaka. You know, it was so cool to have this technology. You're talking to the phone, and you'd pass it back and forth. It's like having an interpreter there. And cool. And that, like, even the words on stuff, it's like, you know, you go into it. That was the coolest thing. You go into a restaurant and they have the specials up on the board, you know, that aren't on the menu. And you pull out your Google Translate camera, and boom, it's like, and you're ordering stuff off the special menu. Like, oh, you know, oh, guys,
how many times a day did you meet anybody that spoke perfect English?
A couple times. There's a few people that I met. It was like usually few and far between. But there was a few people out there. The coolest guy was this guy at this place called Riot Beer. And he actually went to school in Washington State. And he runs this brewery, and it's kind of this punk rock brewery place. You know, he's into punk rock and British football. He's a Liverpool FC fan. And it was just a cool little hang. And it just, you know, I mean, people are friendly. I made friends, you know, with people that's like, gosh, how often does that happen? You know, when you go out to a coffee place or a brewery or whatever, and, you know, you instantly link up with people.
Nice.
And there was a place, a sushi place I went to, and it was, I guess they have an outpost in San Francisco as well. So the people kind of go back and forth. So those guys there spoke pretty good English too. But generally, not too much. I mean, it was kind of funny because after the sushi meal, I think we were kind of drunk anyways, and I was sick, and I took these Japanese cold pills that did psychedelic things to me. But we were out this one area, and they had a bunch of, you know, T-shirt shops. You know, we were going through the concert T-shirt stuff, and my wife and I were laughing because we said, "Man, this store must have raided some thrift store in the South, because there was NASCAR stuff, and there was like the history of the Civil War." And my wife found this like 4XL. It was like Oklahoma Indian Reservation shirt.
Now, Chris, is this all brand new, or is it like retro where they brought it over and they're selling it?
This is all used stuff. This is all they get from thrift stores to bring over. Like this, like I said, this shirt is an XL. This is an 80s XL. You know, like usually I wear an XL and I've got some moving room, and this is like skin tight on me. And this, you know,
if you don't mind me asking, what did you pay for that?
I paid about $100 for it.
Okay.
So it would,
but it's vintage. It's vintage.
It's original 86 T-shirt. It's not worn out. The print's all still good. The tags are proper. You know, it's not a repro. Gotcha. I called up the Van Halen store guy, Jeff
Houseman.
Jeff Houseman. I texted him. I said, like, I sent him a picture. I said, I found this, you know, they want this much for it. Should I get it? He's like, yeah, you can just get it.
He's like, yeah.
You know, you confirmed the tags are right and everything.
Wow.
But it would be like $300, like on eBay over here or Etsy or whatever. They're like they're $300, $400 for this shirt.
So Chris, it's interesting you say that, because being a memorabilia guy, I see stuff from all over the world, but the Japan stuff is always really high priced, you know, but you're saying that over there it's in plenty.
Well, this is the thing. I think the people who sell stuff to the greater world over there, who know and put stuff online and take the effort to do that, know, you know, the price or whatever. But there's so many stores. There's this area called Koenji. That's where I got this shirt, and they have something like 40, 50 vintage clothing shops all in this section. Shimokitazawa, which is the other thing I was talking about with all the stuff from the South in this one store. That's a whole other neighborhood. They have equally as many shops. And most of these things have like a big section of concert T-shirts, like racks and racks of concert T-shirts. And I saw one other shirt just like this. It was actually more expensive. You do have to be careful because I made the mistake. I bought an AC/DC 1981 Japan tour shirt. I thought, oh, it's a Japan tour thing. Because I was actually, my whole goal was to try and find that 1979 Van Halen Japan tour shirt.
Yeah.
I was trying to find that. So that's what my main goal was, looking for that. But I saw this AC/DC thing. Well, it turned out to be a repro, and it was a rookie mistake. I didn't look at the tag. It was actually printed. It even said like 2022 in it, and like you can get it on eBay for $17. And I paid like $40, and that was just a sucker and stupid. But there's, like I said, I found a 83 US Festival T-shirt, muscle tee. You know, the real deal. It was a 80s size medium, so I would never fit into it. But you know, and I found other Van Halen tour shirts out there, and it's just like there was all kinds of concert T-shirts, and you know, some stuff was priced higher and other was lower. The exchange rate played a big part in the role of, you know, keeping the prices a little bit more reasonable. But you just go, and there's so many stacks at these stores, and you go, and it's just, you almost get burned out because there's just so much stuff.
Oh, that is crazy.
Chris, you showed us a video earlier of in a store of all the Van Halen CDs.
Yeah.
And it almost looked, at the end of it, you pan down at the end, it almost looked like a copy. You said it was bootlegs and other stuff in there. It almost looked like a copy of the Looney Tunes there near the end.
Yeah, I think there was a bunch of, I mean, there was so much stuff. Yeah, it was funny because that store in particular had a really good selection of Van Halen stuff. I looked at other places like the main Tower store in Shibuya. They have like a real tower. They have a couple Tower Records locations in Tokyo still, and the main store in Shibuya is like 8 floors. And when I was there in 2015, yeah, it was like they had just released, you know, the Tokyo Dome album. They had a big display there and everything like that. But this time I went, and they kind of had a scant selection of Van Halen stuff. They did have a bootleg of Pasadena Civic Center. I think it was September. I think it was that September show or whatever. But again, I was going to buy it, but it was expensive. And kind of after I bought the forum one, it's just like, yeah, all this stuff is on YouTube nowadays. So you don't really, you know, unless you really want to have a hard copy of it, you know, that's really not worth it. But, but yeah, it was like Ochanomizu, because that's guitar heaven. You know, and it's a big block. It's more than a block. It's several blocks of guitar stores and music stores, but mostly guitar stores that completely outdoes what we have here. And on top of that, this is the other crazy thing: manhole covers. What? They have all these custom manhole covers all over the place.
Custom
manhole covers?
They're crazy.
I gotta see this.
Yeah, Tony's planning a trip right now in his head.
Attention, Chris.
On top of that, you know how they have Pokemon, right? And they have collector's cards and stuff. Well, they have manhole cover cards that you can get. We went to this one section. Oh
my goodness.
There's Ultraman, you know, and not just one Ultraman, but there's like 5 different variants of Ultraman stuff, you know, that they have. Wow. And they have you have to go to this one tourist information place. It's actually another town over to get a collector's card for it. Let's see if I have some of my other stuff here.
Manhole covers.
Yeah. And collector's cards to go with them.
Figure.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
But that's in Ochanomizu. Astro Boy. This is a kind of a little interesting trivia thing, because Astro Boy has this character named Dr. Ochanomizu. So they have 3 Astro Boy related covers in Ochanomizu over amongst all these guitar shops. So if you're looking at the ground, it's really tough to walk around there, because if you don't look at the ground, you're going to miss sometimes these manhole covers. If you don't look up, you're going to miss some crazy shop or restaurant or something. You know, like most people, you were used to looking at ground level, you know, what's on the street right over here and everything like that. There you look up, you know, or you're going to miss something, or you look down on the ground, you're going to miss some crazy, wacky manhole cover. Oh, here's another Van Halen shirt that I found.
Oh, I remember that one.
Oh,
that one,
yeah.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. Cool. I have that one.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I found that one. But yeah, here's a really cool one. This is Godzilla. See if I can get a good view of that.
Oh, nice.
Oh, dude.
But
look at
that's
that.
I stayed in the
Man,
Godzilla
oh,
Hotel, and this is out in front of it. So I mean, it's just they just have crazy stuff.
So,
Wait a minute. Wait.
The Godzilla Hotel.
Godzilla Hotel?
Oh boy. Okay, here we go.
Of course, man.
Okay, let me get back to
Only in
that.
Japan.
Let me see here.
Do they have a Gargantua Hotel as well?
Not yet. I'm sure one day they will.
Of course.
Let's see here. If I can get you the full show here.
Please.
Sorry, this makes for not the. Oh, here we go. It's a big Godzilla head on top of the hotel.
Oh yeah.
It's up actually above the 8th floor.
Mm.
Oh, that is crazy. That is crazy. Is it real clean there? Like the streets and everything?
So, Chris, you spoke of all these
Hold on. Here we go. Here's the best part.
shops.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at the smoke.
Get a load of that.
Lasers. It's like Vegas.
But at nighttime, it pops.
I know.
Oh yeah, it's like Vegas. It's pretty clean actually. That stretch there in front of the Godzilla Hotel. It's like Godzilla Street's Kabukicho. It's kind of the red light district, but it's a very tame red light district nowadays. Mm-hmm. But it would get pretty trashed from a lot of tourists and stuff. The Japanese are very clean. Mm-hmm. In fact, that's one of the other frustrating things is that they don't have trash cans everywhere. In fact, you rarely can find a trash can. About the only place you'll find one is inside a convenience store. Mm-hmm. So you end up carrying your trash with you, sometimes for hours before you find a place to dump it, so that can be a little wacky. But yeah, there was kind of crazy because a lot of drinking at night and stuff and people out till late every night. Mm-hmm. And you'd come out in the morning and there'd be trash everywhere. But then the shop owners would be out with the hoses and stuff and, the brushes and cleaning it up and everything like that. Take a lot of pride in it. But
gotcha.
It was kind of a drag to see that, because when I first started going there a lot in like the early 2010s, it wasn't so bad. But, you see progressively over time with more tourists and stuff of people just dumping stuff and being slobs.
Wow. What is the, you spoke of these guitar shops that line both sides of the street.
Yeah.
What's the nowadays? You said they love their 80s rock there. What's the music scene? If they got guitar shops all over the place, there's musicians.
Oh yeah.
Also,
and you see a ton of that. You see a ton of musicians out. You see people with guitar cases, gig bags over their shoulders. The thing is like, man, people stay with stuff when they get into it. I mean, this is the other side of the thing that I finally got to see that I'd heard about in the park. What's the name of the park? But there's a big park by Harajuku by the train station. And every Sunday, these old rockabilly guys gather at this one kind of circle area. And they have all their different rockabilly clubs and they have their portable sound systems. And they go out there and they dance and they kind of do this around the circle dance off kind of thing. And I took a bunch of pictures of that. These guys are all in their rockabilly get-ups. And it's like, again, it's 100 degrees out and these guys have like long leather jackets on and boots and denim and
pompadours, the whole 9 yards.
Pompadours, the whole thing, man.
That's so cool.
And some of the tunes they were rocking out to were really kind of cool. They were like modern rockabilly stuff. They weren't necessarily oldies, and they were Japanese. And it's like, God, I want to figure out who this is. It's time to get out the Shazam and figure out what the heck this music is. But it's why the 80s stuff. It's like there's a generation out there. It's just like once you become. They stick with stuff. It's not like, oh, that's old and I'm not going to listen to that anymore. They really stick with it. They're like us, like with our Van Halen, but that's culturally, that's a big part of it. But also the new stuff. I mean, there is a lot. I mean, you go to the Fender flagship store and they have all these bands, and artists and stuff that we don't know about. And there's like a ton of them, and that goes for all the guitar brands, Ibanez and ESP. And so on and so forth. They have a whole string of things. And like I said, I picked up a couple of these rock records. Some of them, like the Psychoma stuff is older, but they recently got back together. to do a tour. But Love Bites and stuff like that. There's just all these bands with really, really great guitar playing.
Very cool.
And you hear it on a level, I mean, considering the size of the country and the population compared to the United States, it's pretty concentrated. And there's so much of it. There's so much stuff. And I feel like I've only scratched the surface of what's out there. It's just some really, again, it's very much like the 80s never died. And there's just these bands that are doing new music of that style. They sound like the Scorpions, or they sound like this, or they sound like that, and Psychoma is like their guitar players. They got two of them. They sound like Yngwie. They both sound like Yngwie. It's just really crazy and cool.
Excellent.
You're
like a Japan advertiser, like an ambassador.
Me and Marty Friedman, man. I missed it because Marty was like the day before I was supposed to leave, before my flight got so wonderfully canceled by the slacking off staff of United Airlines at Dulles Airport that screwed up our plane that was supposed to come out. But Marty was at the airport, the Haneda Airport, he doing some cultural emissary thing. I guess he says, if you're in Haneda, you will hear my guitar playing over the PA, as you're walking around to your flight or whatever. But he just debuted some song out there or whatever. And but he's had that role for a while. Since just before the Olympics, he's like this cultural ambassador.
How did he become so beloved and embraced by the Japanese culture?
I think he became like me, like he became fascinated with it. I'm sure that on tour he went over there and fell in love with it. And I think his wife's Japanese, and but he moved over there and learned the language and everything, and lives there. And he's a celebrity over there. So I think that's the other thing. It's like he has opportunities out there that he would never have here.
He showed up at the Fillmore just 6 weeks ago, and he had 3 musicians with him, and they were all from Japan. They were so unique, and the music, there was no vocals. It was all instrumental.
Right.
And he played for about 45 minutes. It was one of the most unique, new, fresh things I've heard in a very long time. And the girl playing bass weighed like 85, 90 pounds. She was this little thing. The bass weighed as much as she did. It was craziest thing.
Wow.
She was left-handed. She just killed it.
Yeah.
He's surrounding himself with incredible musicians, and I just think it's so fresh and just so cool the way that
they're out there. And that's the thing, is with the culture in general. I mean, they're losing a little bit of it, but it's there is this whole thing to like devotion to the craft. That my wife, we just went out to get these shoes. This guy and his wife, they take kimonos and the fabric from them, and they turn them into coverings for tennis shoes, and they're really cool. But he was just talking about how there's like a lot of these traditional crafts are dying off.
Silk tennis shoes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like doing a guitar, Charles.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. Ed.
The devotion to music, it's like they just don't they don't really approach things in general casually. Like if they're going to become a guitar player, they're really going to dig into it, and they're going to study it and they're going to master it. In general, not everybody, but in general, that's kind of the overriding type of attitude about stuff that they just. It's obsessive in a way, but it's just the attention to detail, and again, the pride in what you do.
That's true. That is very true.
And you saw that, again, in restaurants, the guy, making your coffee in the morning or whatever at this one place in Osaka was just a craftsman. He was an artisan, and he took a lot of pride in what he did. And the guy at Riot Beer, brewing beer, making great beer.
That's excellent. That is so cool. So cool, Chris. Man, Chris, without cutting things short, me and the guys, we anticipate when you show up here. It is always such a special time. We really appreciate you, Chris. I
appreciate you guys too for giving me a forum
really
to yak.
Love the stories.
Absolutely, Chris.
Well,
yeah, man.
Hey, if I win the lotto tonight, what time is it?
Oh, that's right.
I'll get a private plane and take all you guys over there. So.
Oh my goodness, man.
That would be a blast.
I'd rather do a private plane now, man, after this ordeal with United, man. Oh my God. I was up for 40 hours coming home.
Ugh.
Just, we went through the whole day that we were supposed to come back of the flight being delayed. And then, getting back to the hotel, we're getting ready to retrieve our bags to take the bus out to the airport. And I'm sitting there in the line to get the bags. My wife's like, forget it. And it's like, oh, I had to reserve another night at the hotel. Fortunately, they had a room, and then we went through that whole ordeal the next day. And then we're coming into the United States. We're over the United States. We're flying over Chicago. We get over Fort Wayne, Indiana. And all of a sudden I noticed that the flight tracker's going in a circle.
Uh-oh.
It's like, all of a sudden we're turning around. We're going back. It's like, oh, no, we're going around. It's like we did this for a while. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a thunderstorm in Newark. So we're going to take you to Washington Dulles Airport.
Oh, my goodness.
And we sat on the ground for a couple hours before they let us off at the gate. Then we had to go through customs. And the worst part was we had to wait for our bags for 2.5 hours to come off the carousel. And there was no excuse for it. There was no excuse whatsoever for it. They told us, because it's raining out. And it's like a bunch of people, because we were all in this, the waiting area where there's no windows or anything, for the baggage or whatever. And somebody said, like, we saw it's not raining. It's barely dripping out there. That's bullshit. This Icelandic air flight shows up, all the people get through customs, their bags are there. They breeze on to whatever they have to do. It's like they just abused us. And the staff were jerks. Staff were jerks. Like they just didn't give a damn. And I wasn't surprised that the day after I got home, I heard about some United pilot, being arrested in France for being drunk. Where was he from? Dulles.
Wow.
Oh
my goodness.
So
could have been yours.
Dulles at all costs,
close to home.
man. Yeah. I know you want to get on with the whole ordeal I went through. So we wait 2.5 hours for our bags. Our bags finally come off the carousel, right? So we have to go and recheck them in to get our connecting flight back to Newark. It's only an hour flight. But we have to haul our bags over to this thing. And then we have to go way down to the end of this hall to go through security again. Take a tram to our terminal. And, of course, our terminal gate is at the very end of the whole terminal. So it's just like... Oh, man. Like I said, we were just abused. And then to make the matters worse, I had a car service to take us home. And the driver, they couldn't find a driver because it was like 2:00 in the morning.
Oh, man.
So we got a ghetto Uber that was like really fun. The guy was so stoned. He drove like 20 miles an hour underneath the speed limit.
That's the best time.
No.
So it was the adventure home was more of an adventure than I spent over there. You talk about the bullet train. The bullet train, my gosh, was like, it was just such luxury and fun and efficient and on time, and
so after all that attention to detail and that dedication to work that the Japanese people have, you have to come home to that crap.
You get a nice
that's
welcome
terrible.
Home.
Yeah, I had a guy at Dulles. There was like some guy who was like a lead, like director. I forget what he was. I actually got the guy's name, and I'm probably going to file a formal complaint. But I just was joking with the guy. I said, like, hey, I can round up 10 guys, and we can go out there and get the bags if you want. The guy was just kind of a smart ass at me, and just go, you're going to get arrested by the Border Patrol, whatever. And it's just like, okay. So I went around and I started taking pictures of the employees because I'm going to bitch about these people. So I go back and I'm talking with my wife, and this asshole comes by and he takes a picture of me. It's like,
oh my goodness!
Wow, you're the face of service for a company. It's like I'm a random guy, I'm a customer, but for you to come around and intimidate me like that, fuck you, buddy.
Which airline was this again?
United. Don't fly United. I'm done with them, man. I am done with them. I'm flying Japan Airlines next time, man. I remember flying to Japan Airlines when I went to Japan for the first time in '96, and it was like surreal. Again, it was like being stoned. It was just like the service was so good. There was all these little Japanese stewardesses popping out of every nook and cranny going, hello, can I bring you anything to eat? It's just like, here's food, here's more food, have some food, have a drink, have a drink.
Nice.
United, you want a drink? Fuck you. We're going to sit on the tarmac for 2 hours. You can't even use the toilet. Fuck you.
Here's a bag of peanuts.
Wow.
Yeah. Bag of peanuts that we stomped on.
I did see a question for you from Keith Campbell, Chris.
Yes.
I don't want to miss it. I've been waiting patiently to ask this. He wants to know if you have toured the EVH MIJ factory.
No, I have not, and I want to go to Fuji Gengaki, and that will probably be the next trip that I go out there. I might have to do that solo. I don't want to bore my wife, and it was bad enough with them dealing with me at the Fender flagship store. I'd spent well over an hour there. But Fuji Gengaki is Fender Japan now, and they have been basically since the early '80s when Fender basically realized that they were making the copies better than Fender in the U.S. was making them at the time. But yeah, I would love to go out there and see the people. I mean, I've been to ESP, and that was quite an experience. And that's
I bet that was the shit, bro.
It really is.
Cool.
They were preparing all their custom instruments. Every NAMM show they do about 40, 50 custom instruments.
Yeah.
And I was there while they were working on them. And that's, again, talk about craftsmanship and the devotion, to the craft and everything, and the pride in the work.
That's really as good as it gets.
It is. Yeah, it is.
They do set the benchmark.
What's up, Jimmy Ray Hawkins?
Hey, Jimmy Ray.
Jimmy Ray, you rock. Go on, bro. Chris, we love Jimmy Ray around here, brother.
Cool. Gotta love Jimmy Ray.
Yeah.
We love Jimmy Ray. He rocks.
But yeah, it's I would love to go out and see more guitar factories and stuff over there. Even the little shops. I didn't have enough time in Ochanomizu to stop by every little shop. I saw like Zamitis. They have like it's part of Greco now. They make these basically reproductions, but they had a Zamitis shop. And it's like I just want to go there and poke around and see stuff, and that's why I recommend this one area. Like I said, I'm doing a video on this one area in Shinokubo, which is just above. It's part of Shinjuku. It's this Koreatown part. It's so cool because there's the Yamanote line, which is a circle line that goes around all the major stops of Tokyo. So chances are, if you're going to Tokyo and taking the train, or subway. But I recommend taking the train and not the subway, because the subway can be miles underground and just. You walk several miles going down steps. But the Yamanote line is a circle line. And Shinokubo, you get off, you go out the turnstiles, you go around the corner, and there they are. There's hyper guitars, there's TC Gaki, there's Kurosawa, the Bass Center. They've got an incredible classical guitar store. They've got a great steel string acoustic store. TC Gaki specializes in used instruments, mostly Japanese stuff. And then you've got hyper guitars, which is vintage, mostly American vintage, but cream of the crop vintage. And it's just like a little concentrated area. And I'd say if you have one place to go and you want to spend some time and really look at stuff and not feel like you're missing anything, go there, because that's my favorite section. And I inevitably buy something, when I'm there.
Wow.
So.
That sounds great. Well, needless to say, we all can't wait to take a vacation to Japan through you. Yeah, I want to see it all, man.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
I mean, the worst cost is the airfare getting over there. But once you're over there, at least if the exchange rates hold up, man, it's like going to a third world country with like fourth world technology.
That's so cool.
I'm sure the things that are awesome about Japan, you spend enough time there and you get kind of used to it for a minute, and then you come home, and then you say, so that's fucked up.
Yeah. Well, like I said, just the rude awakening, just, starting with Dolus, is just like, oh man, just coming back from, friendly people and smiles and pride and service. And, some guy being a smartass about, the rain affecting their ability to get our luggage to us in a timely manner. I mean,
that's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple drops of rain. Oh yeah. You can't, you don't have a rain jacket,
Mm.
It's sad.
I mean, you spent 14 hours flying across, the Pacific Ocean in the United States, then spent 2 hours sitting on the tarmac, then you get off a plane to go through customs, and then you can't get your damn luggage to get back onto the same plane to fly home.
And then you get attitude. You're already frustrated.
An attitude. I mean, even I will say this, I thought Newark was rude, but even at Newark, when I come in and go through customs, I always get the welcome home, from the guys. Usually they're military guys, and they're upstanding and they're cool, you know, and everything. And even the dude with me with long hair and funky beard, you know, gets treated with respect, you know. And even at Dulles, the guy was just kind of like, you know, took a look at my passport, and it's like,
Wow.
you know, and it's like, why did we even do this? It's like the guy barely looked at my passport. You know, the luggage we just basically took off the turnstile, put onto another turnstile to go back on the plane.
Yeah.
No inspection, you know, or anything like that. No questions or anything. And I didn't had anything illegal or anything like that, you know, but it's just weird, you know. But
That's crazy.
But there's good and there's bad, you know. There's
Sure there is.
like there were frustrations, you know, like I said, the rules thing. I had a deal where I was only going like a short distance from Osaka to Kyoto, which is like on the bullet trains, 15 minutes. And I had the most frustrating thing because I you know, I had these train passes and I paid the extra $50, and so I wanted the reserve seats in the green car, which is the nice car. You know, it's the more luxury, because they have like the non-reserved car, and it's kind of a scrum sometimes, depending. You know, usually it's easy to get a seat on it. But we had, actually, when we were going out to Hiroshima, we ended up with this horde of like German backpackers and whatever. And it was just this crazy scrum, you know, because for some reason I couldn't get a reserved car because that car was too full, or the train was too full. And we had to get in the scrum with all these crazy people. And but I was trying to, you know, take advantage of the reserved car and the luxury and the extra space and everything. And it was like only a 15-minute ride, but I'd reserved this train, and it seemed to be the Phantom train that didn't exist. Like it was like something from like Spirited Away or something. You know, it's just like I have to go through some secret passageway, and the ghost would take me on this train. Because I was asking these people, like, and it was like my wife. I can't remember what it was, but my wife and I were saying this would be a great name for a 80s metal band. You know, because like there's like the Super whatever something 2 or whatever, Super something 6. You know, it's like we could not find this train on any of the boards. We were asking the various people, the employees, like, where do we catch this train? And they're looking at their thing and like, oh, it will show up on the board. It's like, well, it didn't show. That, you know, the times are coming up for when it was supposed to happen. It's like, oh crap, I'm just going to change my reservation. And I went to the machine, and the machine wouldn't let me do it. And so I thought, oh crap, I'm going to get into the long line at the ticket office and talk to somebody in person, right? So I get up there, and the lady's like, oh, the trains are full. And I'm like, I'm looking at the board she's showing me, and there's like these little green circles. And the green circle means there's open space. You know, if there's an X, a red X, it means it's booked. You know, there's green things. It's like, can't you put me on this one? She's like, oh, can't do it. You know, and it's like, I said, well, just put me on the earliest one that you can find, you know. And she's like, you need to catch this one. It's leaving now. Track 9. And I'm like, okay. So, you know, my wife and my daughter run with our bags, and we go down to, you know, the thing, and we're winded because it's all the way, again, this is way at the end of the hall. The track, there's no train. And there's like 3 bewildered Spanish people standing there, like just going, you know, like,
where's the train?
Here? Like, we don't know.
Everyone's like, looking for the train.
Oh man!
And it's just like, well, this train it was weird because there was like the super whatever, the super sonic, you know, 7 or whatever. You know, that there was that train, but it was going the other direction, so it wasn't the direction I wanted to go. And I think that was the one that was actually leaving, because it's just. But the lady would not change my ticket, so it's like, okay, screw it. It's only a 15-minute ride. We're just going to go into the scrum. And it actually wasn't that bad because it was only like, you know, a short ride, so there was plenty of open seats. But it was just, again, it was like one of those things with the bureaucracy. They wouldn't let me change my reserve tickets. You know, it's like even after they're expired, it's like the train's already left. The times, it's like, no, can't do it. You reserved
with
this.
The common folk.
Yeah, with the common folk.
Wow.
Like I said, I paid for that stuff. And it was so nice in that car. It was just so quiet. And the only drag was I didn't get to see Mount Fuji. We went by it twice, and it just was socked in with clouds.
Oh,
Wow.
Couldn't see it. But, and as I mentioned, Osaka, man, that's the other place I want to go back to. That place is nuts. It's gritty. You know, it's the fair warning.
Oh, okay.
Of Osaka. So
Right on.
yeah.
God, I love it.
Sounds good.
And
Let me. All right. So let me give a reminder before I forget. Where are we at, guys? 2:24 on the channel here. Friday night. Expect a live stream in the evening on the release day of Mammoth II. We'll be doing something special, a little off kilter, but we'll be live right here Friday night. Then Saturday, the following day, we do Show Me Your Pick Saturday at 9 p.m. and we're going to continue the party the next day.
Oh yeah.
With showing you a bunch of Mammoth WVH picks from all the band. And we'll be talking all about the record. And showing off it and the merch. And we will be giving away those guitar picks. Let me show them again one more time.
Ed, did you get any guitar picks?
I did order some, yes.
I ordered it. Sold out when I got on there, you guys.
I ordered a 10.
So we'll be giving away these starting Saturday. I've ordered a couple of these. One will stay sealed, and we'll rip the other one open and show you all of them and start passing them out.
Cool.
Those are very nice.
Yeah.
That's so nice of you, Tony, to order an extra set just for people like that.
Of course.
So generous of you.
Man. This is Mammoth II. This is historic. Yeah, I'm excited. So that record is out this Friday. You can still get your pre-orders in the Mammoth WVH official. Go over there. There's merch. There's shirts, hoodies, flags, hats, all kind of cool new Mammoth stuff, which we have the other Mammoth stuff. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff over there. Vinyl left, CD, of course. But yeah, I cannot wait to hear it. We'll hear it Friday. We will hear it Friday.
Fasten seatbelts.
Yeah,
yes.
so Mammoth, and again, Mammoth is here stateside now, and they are marching across the U.S. of A. And there you go. That's your dates. Buffalo tonight, doing the Pawns and Kings tour there, but Friday night they'll be at MetLife Stadium with Metallica and Pantera.
Oh, man.
Yeah. On that one. So you can catch either one of those and coming hopefully to a city near you. Get the record now. This is exciting. Mammoth II is out this Friday. Yeah. We'll be talking more about it as the week goes on.
And just don't think about it. Just get it. Let's many people as you can, man. Let's make a statement on the Billboard charts. Say rock is alive.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like to see this thing debut. Nice high charting point.
Yeah. We've been waiting on this one a while now. Yeah. Much anticipated, but we are counting down the days, couple more days, end of the week, guys. Right on. Cool. Okay. So Chris, always great to see you, sir. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Thanks. Always a pleasure. Always fun.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris.
Thanks for indulging me and hearing my crazy Japan tales. So
priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for your insight on these songs.
Yeah, you guys you're just gonna love it, and it's just it's one of the most solid records I've heard in a long time. So it's it's sometimes you become the jaded rock writer guy, and you get stuff. It's like, yeah, this is all right, this is good, But I'm excited about this record. It really, like I said, it takes you on a journey, and I love records that do that.
You're raving about this record, Chris, and we can tell.
Yeah.
And I like to hear that.
Yeah.
Can't wait for your interview.
Yeah, me too.
That's going to be priceless.
Yes.
And I'm priceless. A little preview. Hopefully, I'm going to be in LA, like I said, in a couple of weeks, and I'm hoping that there's some free time to drop by 5150 and get to see what's been going on over there. So, they a year ago they invited me over, and now I'm finally making it to LA.
It's outstanding.
Hopefully, there's no thunderstorms, and I don't get diverted to Dulles and go postal. So
well, it never rains in Southern California, so you got that going for you.
Got that, going there. It's just
there you go.
Getting there. At least I'm not taking United this time, so I think I'm done with them. But
so it's official. Screw United. Chris says so.
There was that thing a while back about United hates guitars and everything like that, and it's like I still put up with them and built up a lot of frequent flyer miles and everything like that. But it's like after this last thing, after they treated me like a Taylor guitar, and put me through the shredder.
Taylor guitar.
I'm
a Taylor guitar.
I'm still recovering. Usually I get back from Japan and I'm fine the next day because it's, it's like a time machine. You leave at 5 p.m. and you get in at 5 p.m. Well, no, I was off for 40 hours. I couldn't sleep because I couldn't, I wasn't properly fed. I was on edge, and I had to take a sketchy ride home, with my wife and my daughter at the crazy early hours of the morning. And they can't even tell me if they can reimburse my extra night of a hotel, and they're making so much profit.
Yeah.
You were so glad to see your own bed. Good God.
Oh my gosh. You wouldn't believe it. Except the problem was when I got home, I couldn't sleep for an hour because you're so amped,
Still wound up. Yeah.
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 Wow.
Excellent, though.
Everybody, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Go get this new Mammoth record.
You will not be disappointed. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Go get this record.
Your money back.
Join us this Saturday for Show Me Your Pick right there. That's your card. A lot of fun stuff happening Saturday. Yeah, it certainly is. And look for us on Friday night here for the release of Mammoth II on Friday. So everybody, if you would, please leave a thumbs up on the video tonight. Subscribe here if you're not already. Thank you for that. Yeah. And
congrats on 1,000. I know how hard it is to get there, man. I'm stalled out at 480 on my YouTube, man. So it's a rough grind. And you guys are putting out way more content than I do.
We are getting close to 1,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very close.
Absolutely.
Almost.
So if you all are already subscribed, thank you so much. This is so much fun. Thank you. Yep.
That's right.
All right. We're gonna bounce. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you Saturday. We'll see you Friday, excuse me.
Yep.
Mammoth II. Any last words there, Charles Green?
Guys, this is Halenville. And around here, it doesn't matter if you go north, south, east, or west. Every single road is going to lead you straight to some Van Halen. Mammoth's got a new album coming out on Friday, you guys. This is freaking Christmas as far as I'm concerned. Have a great week. Do something nice for somebody for no reason whatsoever, and you will feel better about yourself. And rock on, you guys. Love you. Be well.
Amen.
Class dismissed.
Yeah.